I have been playing in my Forever World here for over 4 years. I'm closing in on day 5000, I have over 1000 hours of playtime, but most importantly, I have made 100 episodes for all of you wonderful people to watch. Including this one, of course, because that's what this is. Episode 100, and I think we are well overdue for a world tour. As you can probably tell from the length of this video, we are not going to be skipping over anything. I'll be showing you every single thing I've made in the past 99 episodes. It's not very often we do one of these, so I think it's important that we do it right and give everything its very own moment in the spotlight. Starting, of course, with my starter house. This was the build that sort of set the standard for the rest of my base here in the mountains. It was the very first thing we made over here. I believe at one point in time there was part of the village that was once down there, up here. It's so long ago now I can't really remember, but I knew from the get-go that with this base and with this style of building that I was doing, I wanted to do something a little bit different, using different blocks, not just doing what I was comfortable with. So went with a bit of a wacky style. There's quite a lot going on, which I think matches pretty well with everything else we've got in this world, so I'd say it was a good first step. On the inside we just have the bare necessities. I can't remember exactly how long I was in here, but it was a good couple of episodes at least. So we got a little enchanting area, small crop farm which hasn't been harvested in a very long time, little kitchen out the back, even with a back door that you can hop onto the crane if you really want to. Why there's a crane, I'm not sure. There just is. There's another door here. Forgot about that one, honestly. And then upstairs we got 2 levels. This is my bedroom. Set my spawn, why not? Storage room. Guessing most of this is empty now. Be very surprised if there was anything left over. Possibly in a barrel? No. This is the storage room before I upgraded. And then on the top level, we have my first mending villager. Who, there he is. Not super cheap, but pretty cheap. I can't remember when we actually got this guy moved in. Definitely wasn't in one of the first episodes, but I believe I left this room empty with the intention of moving this guy from the village. So he's basically been here from the very start. And then out this door, if you want to, you can go stand up on the crane. Has a lovely view now, but of course, all that time ago, looked very different to what it does at the moment. Real quick, I just want to say that there's going to be a world download available for all of my YouTube members, just as a thank you for the continued support. So if you do want to check out this world in person, quote unquote, that's how you can do it. Don't worry if not, totally understandable, you can just join me as I take you around. The next thing we built was this bridge, crossing over this stretch of the terrain. I knew when I started this world that I wanted everything in the mountain base to be connected in some way or another. Most of that is just through pathways, but obviously there was this big gap in the terrain and I knew I needed to come over here, so instead of having a winding pathway going all around, we got a bridge, which it's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite parts of this base for sure. But that is probably where we're going to end it for chronological order. I think the next episode we were off 4,000 blocks away in a desert somewhere. So to make things not really complicated, so we're not jumping back and forth, we'll just go to things as we find them and try and go area by area as opposed to in chronological order. But following the pathway around here, we actually have a more recent build. This is my glow lichen farm, where we got some overgrownness here spreading onto the trees surrounding it. Wanted to use resin. It was my first time using this block, so I thought I'd chuck some of that in there. But yeah, very simple lichen farm, just for when I need it. I've got it. And then I think I actually got a glimpse of something down here which I haven't seen in a very long time. But I think this, yeah, this is my original nether portal. I forgot this was here until I just saw it up there a second ago. So it's not exactly a proper build, but it's a little bit of history of this world, which is kind of cool. We'll actually keep on going this way past the starter house and down this staircase that I made. Also, just on the left here is actually a waterfall, kind of custom made. Well, it is custom made, it's just made out of stone and no other blocks. It's customly shaped, shall we say. It was a really ugly waterfall the way it was naturally generated, so fairly recently I actually changed that to make it look a little bit nicer. But if we just head down the staircase here, we eventually, once we get down to the bottom level, come to the wool factory. This is where I've got my sheep farm. It's actually, I think, in the mountain behind it, but it's what I've built as a facade of the sheep farm, so it just looks a little bit nicer than, you know, having nothing at all. We got a cart that just goes back and forth, and a bunch of different bits of machinery looking as though stuff is happening here. I think, yep, we got some blocks, I think, on rotation. I'm guessing there's a hopper or dropper or something keeping it going around in a loop. I can't remember. Yeah, see, there's... Nope, that's not something. I thought I saw something a second ago, didn't I? Or am I going crazy? I'm not sure. Maybe I'm going insane. But we have a conveyor belt and, yeah, just lots of stuff where it looks like stuff is getting done in the factory. But I'm pretty sure we do have a way to climb this ladder here and crouch underneath this roof line, and eventually we can do a little jump and come to this part of the build, and then if we go through here we can actually fall down a hole, take some fall damage, but that's okay. And we end up at the sheep farm. We got another entrance out this way, but we'll come back to that in a bit because that leads to somewhere else in the world. But yeah, lots and lots of wool. I don't use as much wool as this farm provides, but again, I've got it here if I need it. And it is pretty satisfying to watch, seeing all the wool get clicked out and shot into the middle, getting flown around in the water at the bottom. I could stay here for a little while, but I won't. We got places to see. We'll head back up to the bridge now, over onto the other side, where we have a moss tower. That is, once again, another cover-up for a farm. You guessed it, it's moss. That's a pretty common theme in this world here, where I've built a farm. Can I actually go up here? Kind of. Get a little bit of a view. Kind of. And I've made a farm underground, but I haven't just wanted to leave it there with nothing in the way, so I've made something kind of related on top. But there you go, moss farm. Don't ask me how it works. I don't know. It just puts moss in this chest and I take it. I have got some farms in this world that are my design, but some stuff like that is just too confusing for my little brain to handle, so I have to use somebody else's tutorial and build something on top. So we'll go left this time, down to another factory. This is actually my bamboo factory. A little bit smaller than the wool one, but still a factory nonetheless, I would say. I think round the back we've just got, yeah, basically more of the same. Okay, that's fine. We got a name, it's called the Bamboozler, and it doesn't work anymore, at least I don't think so. There's a super fast bamboo farm underground, but it uses loads and loads of bone meal, so I don't think it's really stocked anymore. But basically I press this lever, bamboo comes up this pipe, falls onto me, and then I craft it here. And I think then I chuck it in the cauldron. You know what, we can test it actually, if I could get something in there. It's not the best design in the world. This one, or at least this element of it, is mine. So there should be a carrot. Oh, okay. Maybe that also doesn't work. Who knows? Maybe the farm has to be turned on for it to work. Or I've just thrown a golden carrot into the abyss. But now we can go further on down this way and come to maybe one of my favorite singular buildings in this base, maybe in the entire world. I just really, really like this water mill. I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it's the location, maybe it's the blocks. I'm just a big fan. But this is my water mill with yet another customly shaped waterfall underneath the bridge. If we can actually get up to a bit of a vantage point and take a better look, you can see there's a waterfall that starts here, and this was another one that kind of just went all over the place, so I've tried to shape it so it just flows a little bit nicer, cascading down through the actual water wheel, and then further on down into that pond at the bottom. But if we cross over our little bridge, we can check out ye old water mill, which is another cover-up. This is for my wheat farm. I've got a farmer underground working away, and the seeds and the wheat come up into this place. Just tried to make it look like a regular mill of some sort down here. And then up the top level is just a nice little room, cozy little area to sleep away, do some reading, store some items, or just hang out, which is occasionally what I do. Usually just to sleep though, that's the main purpose of this building. Honestly, more than the wheat. I come in here to sleep more than I do to grab wheat. Tell you what, before we go up that hill, I actually need to jump into this waterfall and show you my behind waterfall base. Otherwise, I will definitely forget about it and it won't make the cuts in the video. But this is my underground waterfall hidden secret bunker build. I don't think it actually has a purpose unless I'm misremembering. Little piston door there. But yes, we got a bed, we got storage, we got a big CCTV setup, which currently not turned on. Must be broken. We got a map that is... Oh no, it's not a map of the base, it's just a map of some cool terrain. I can't think where. Somewhere in the world. And what is this? Oh, it does have a use. This is my concrete converter. So if I ever need to convert concrete, this is where I go. So I guess there is something down here. But then we can head back out and outside the waterfall and continue on back up. It has just started snowing and the sun is also beginning to set, so we are going to have to make our way to somewhere with a bed. And most of these buildings don't actually have a bed other than my observatory at the top of the hill here. This one definitely has a bed, so maybe we'll check this one out first and make our way down the mountain in the morning. But first things first, let's check out the bottom level. This is another one of my favorite parts of this base. It is a map of my base, and it pretty much encapsulates, I think, every single build I've done in the area that I've designated for my base. I don't think there's anything other than sort of this over here, which we'll get to later, that falls out of the range. We got this botanical garden, which comes pretty close to it, but yeah, this is really cool. I just love coming in here and looking at all of the little details. For instance, that right there is the starter house, that's the bridge going over. This is kind of what we've all just checked out now. Very, very cool. But then the next level up is the bedroom area, another very popular place for me to come and sleep. And then up the top here, since this is an observatory, oh, not very good job of keeping the snow out, we got the telescope, which sticks out the top. And then I also made some maps here of the end islands. Kind of looks like something a bit space related maybe. Thought it was a little cool detail. But anyway, let's go to bed, and then in the morning we will head down that way and check out some more stuff. I should have went to bed earlier. There are mobs everywhere now, and I could really do without a creeper explosion. But I think after I take this one out... Oh, well, that works. I think the coast is going to be clear, so let us head down. We'll just drop straight onto the floor, go across this little bridge, and make our way... Let's go up to this platform, actually. And by the way, in case you're wondering, all of these hitboxes that are around, this is actually string. The trouble with living in the mountains is it snows quite a lot, and when it snows, snow sets on the floor, no matter what block you place down. So anywhere I've got a solid block, that's a pathway that I don't want covered up by snow, which is like basically everything I've placed down in this base has to have a bit of string on top of it, unless there's something covering it up the top. So yeah, when you walk around, it's a little bit distracting. I don't really notice it anymore, but it's definitely there. But anyway, this is my lookout platform where I have a 360-degree view of my base, give or take a bit of blockage from a few mountain peaks that kind of block the view, but it's pretty nice up here, just if you want a big overview of the entire area. And this up here, it's probably worth flying up to, is my balloon house for no real reason. And I think, unless I'm mistaken, nope, I can hear him in here, we have a villager living inside of here. I thought you had a name. You do. There it is, Carl. Named after Carl Fredricksen, is that it? From Up? Since, you know, balloon house, it makes sense, right? But now, if we go on down the mountain, which side do we want to go? There isn't actually a pathway this side, so we will head in this direction and come to this build, which is something we actually made last episode, so won't give too much of a refresher on this. It is my auto rocket crafter. There used to be an XP machine in place of this, but that stopped working a long time ago, so after many months of this sitting here not doing anything, I replaced it with a brand spanking new machine, which looks pretty cool and takes up the space nicely. I think we're actually going to zip by a lot of this and make our way up from the bottom of the mountain, which I would say probably starts at this building over here, which is my bee factory or honey factory, whatever you want to call it. This is where I have my supply of honey bottles or honey combs, which I think go into this chest. Maybe not. If I'm remembering right, actually, I think I turned it off because it was too efficient. Yeah, I filled up the shulker boxes and I just kept having to come back to this place to empty it out, so I actually turned it off. I think we still do have bees working away underground somewhere, but there's also a secret little room. And if we go down here, this is where I get my honey bottles. They're a little bit harder to automate getting the honey bottles and the honeycombs, so if I ever need any, I just come along with some empty bottles and right click on these beehives here and get as much as I possibly need. If we just go back up, we can close the door, and there's actually, I think, it definitely is in this, similar to the wool factory, some items on rotation. If we just stare, there it was! You saw it, and another one. We got honey bottles just on a loop, cycling around, just to add a little bit of movement to the build. You can actually see them from the outside, which is kind of cool as well. I remember this build taking a really long time to make, because if I just take a step back and go over here, there's a block on the roof that, or partway up the build, that took a really long time to obtain, and that is beehives, or bee nests actually. Each one of those blocks is a single bee nest on the front and the back, and yeah, they're not the easiest to get in mass quantity, so worth it, I would say. It's a nice little trim. Now we come to one of the smaller builds in the mountains, which is my snow golem. I needed a lot of powdered snow, or not powdered snow, sorry, snow layers for some reason or another, so I put a snow golem in here, and you just, do this to get lots and lots of the good stuff. And I put a little building around him just to, fit in with the rest of the surroundings. Once again, building a farm and making it look nice. But this one actually has a bunch of snow layers dragged up the side, and I really like the look of this. I kind of want to do it for every other build in this mountain area. It's just very overwhelming, the idea of doing that. So I don't know whether I will. I guess it kind of makes sense for this one being the only one to have snow layers, because this is where I get my snow layers. But if we continue on up this way, we'll head to... Let's go to the Iron Foundry next, over this small bridge. I should probably make this into a little lake, shouldn't I? That would be a nice thing to do. Maybe one day we'll get to that. But we go over that, instead of dragging a pathway up that steep hill, and come to, like I said, the Iron Foundry, which is where I've got my iron farm. Another cover-up, once again, where we have a cat who's doing a great job of keeping the place safe, and as you can see, this is where I get all of my iron. I've got too much iron, honestly. I don't need as much as I have. I have shulker boxes on shulker boxes in my proper base and my proper storage system, but I guess it's better to have lots than none at all. And up here, I don't actually know what's up here. Oh, okay, I guess I can just stand up here and have a little bit of a look around. It's like a peephole sort of thing. Okay, totally forgot this was a thing. I guess the next build we'll go to is the train station, which, as you can probably see, has a connected rail line. It's a mini tour of the base, shall we say. We will ride it because it doesn't take a super long time to do. But inside of here, there's actually a load of surprise, and it's not a mini version of the map, though that is one. It is my floating goat. I can't actually remember if I've ever shown this guy in a video. Somehow, and I'm guessing he made his way inside, climbed the ladder, and then tried to get off and managed to fall onto the lantern. His hitbox is like ever so slightly on there. And he never moved. He's been here pretty much since we built this thing. Oh, hold on to your horses. Get back there. Yeah, he is just chilling. I feel a little bit bad because he's just eternally there and can't do anything about it. We got some villagers up here. We'll get back to them later because that's linked up to a separate build entirely. And then further up to the top, we've got yet another tower I can come up here and stand on for a little view. But let's head down and ride this rail. So it essentially loops around the back of the mountains here and comes out over this side. If I'm remembering right, it does only take a couple of minutes, so we will ride it. It just may get a little bit slow at some points, but it's a nice little trip around the mountains. This car is being really laggy. I don't know if that's just me seeing that, or you guys are noticing it too. It's like jittering about all over the place. It's a bit slow at this point, but again, nice views. Nice. Oh. Okay, I have a feeling maybe minecarts might have changed since I last built this, because I don't remember that happening before. That's okay, we'll hop back on. No. Come on, no. You know what? We'll skip this bit. We'll just go straight up over to here. There we go. Hop back in. So we go through this hole in the mountain. Hello, sheepies. How you doing? And then this is the pretty slow bit. We just crawl up to the top, go over what is my main base, which we'll get to pretty soon. Got some nice views the other side of the mountain. There's another rail line, which we'll get to later on as well. And eventually, man, it is a lot slower than I remember. Even more so. We come through this mountain and out this little crack the other side. And there we go. Okay, got a little boost. I think it's the corners. It really slows you down. But that's okay. It's a good point to give some teasers for some stuff we'll get to later. Things way off in the distance over there. Big old boy, which we'll look at some point. All exciting stuff. Then finally we get some speed, and the rest of the ride, if I remember, is actually pretty quick. We zip around down here, round the corner, down this final slope, and then through the final tunnel, all the way back to the train station. I can't lie, this may be the first time I've ridden this ride since either the last World Tour or when we built it. It has been a while, but that's okay. Not only is it quite fun to ride sometimes, but it does just sort of look pretty cool having a rail line going through your base. I think it is a nice aesthetic touch. I think there are just a handful of builds left to get to before we can have a look around my main base. One of them over here I nearly forgot about, my super smelter. And this is something I've noticed since updating my world to 1.21.10. All of my lightning rods are slowly aging, and I don't want them to. But I have so many around, I just can't go around and wax them all. So I might just have to have fully oxidized lightning rods, and that's fine. But yes, this is my super smelter building. Probably doesn't need much explanation. Fuel goes in here, smeltable items go in there, I send them down to my underground super smelter, and then they actually bubble up this column here, and you can see them flow through up here and into this chest, which is all really actually quite satisfying to watch. Now, you may notice there's another minecart track going around this build. And if I remember right, I think it's over here. Yeah, sometimes it gets stuck when I unload chunks, so I have to set it going again if I want to be able to see it. But it sort of just slowly goes around the build and just adds that extra little bit of movement to it, which I think is actually really quite nice. I wish it kept going the entire time, but I think it's because I've got it going so slow that it just stops occasionally. Like if I leave it unloaded going across this point to here, I think that's where it stops. But yeah, nice little build, a fun one for sure. That'll keep going for a while before we leave the area. Now we'll hop up over to this little thing underneath our rail line and to my nether portal, which is my proper nether portal that I use, not like the one over that way. This one's a bit bigger and a bit nicer looking. Meant to be some sort of power cables or conduits or something like that. There's a lot of stuff in this world that looks as though things are happening when really I don't exactly know what it's meant to be. It just kind of looks right, you know? So, not sure what these could be. You kind of got to use your imagination. But a neat looking nether portal for sure. Okay, I think the last thing we need to get to before taking a look at the base right at the end there is up here to my villager breeder. And you know what? Let's actually just skip all the way to the top because there's this pathway that kind of loops around the end and it's a bit finicky to climb, so easier if we just skip it entirely, honestly. But this is my villager breeder. As you can see, we got 2 villagers down there. I give them food, they make babies, which pop out into... Just give it a sec, wait for the minecart to go by. On your way. Come on. There we go. They pop into here, and then they get picked up by the minecart, which is like fully on a cycle. This one never stops. I'm not sure why this one doesn't, but that one does. Not important, probably due to speed or something. But then they get taken down here, whenever there are babies, that is. And you'll be able to see when the minecart comes by. Actually, I can simulate this. They fall into the corner. And then, there's another step to this whole process. You remember those villagers from earlier in the train station? Well, this has been their life story so far. I just get a minecart. I didn't really have a specific system for it, but I push one into here. It heads into this tunnel, and then that is the corner where the water is pushing them into. They get picked up. And then wherever I need to take a villager, I just build a rail line off into whatever direction it is, and that's kind of how I move them around. I just have 3 extra from when I didn't need this many, so they're just kind of on standby until I can find a proper solution for them, or location for them. We'll get there in the end, guys, don't worry. So, the base. My base. Where I spend most of my time in this world. If I had to pick a single building, this is it. I've also just realized we have a tiny little building here. This is my tower where I can press this button and start a fireworks show, but I won't do that because it takes like 5 minutes and it's daytime, and honestly, I don't like to say it, but it's a little bit underwhelming. If you want to go watch a video, you can check back on the playlist and have a look. It'll probably be a lot more exciting than if we just set it off now. So, take my word for it that there are a bunch of fireworks that all get let loose around the base here. The trouble is, they only really go up to like the height of that tree. They don't go any higher. That's my only nag with it. I just wish they flew a bit more in the air, but they're already on max. Anyway, getting distracted. This is the base. This is where I have my storage room, my bedroom, and honestly, that's about it. So first of all, let's head into the storage room. I still haven't maxed out all of the chests here, which is great because as new stuff gets added in, I expand more and more. I won't show you what every single chest is because let's be honest, that's a little bit boring. But yeah, this is where I spend a lot of my time. Doesn't often make it into the videos because it's usually just me rummaging through chests. This over here, oh, I have a resource pack on that's getting rid of name tags. That's why none of the names are showing up. But this is Clifford. He just chills out here. He's my first dog in my world. He is my old buddy, old pal. He's a good boy. But then we can go up to the next level via this bubble column. Oof. Where we have a small furnace array. This is usually where I come if I just need to smelt like a stack of items and I don't want to use the whole super smelter. And then we have actually... Is there anywhere else we can go? Yes, there is. Oh, it's been so long since I've either been out on this balcony or up this ladder. It's the same on the other side as well. It just goes up onto a little platform here. It doesn't really lead anywhere. It's just kind of like a nice place to come and hang out. You're very enclosed, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, honestly. But then if we climb up this ladder, we come to the bedroom, and this is where I sleep away my nights. Got a lovely view of the base. Enchanting setup over here, a small aquarium with a couple of fish. Okay, they're looking very sad. I suddenly feel very bad for them. I'm sorry, fish. Maybe I'll upgrade you at one point in time. I'm just limited on room, honestly. But yeah, this is my main base. I had a lot of fun. I remember designing this build, coming up with all different shapes and block palettes, and just trying to do something very, very different, which I think I've achieved, especially with the giant crystal floating on top. A lovely touch. Don't know what it signifies or what it's meant to be, other than a big old crystal sitting up here on top of the base. Oh, ow. So that is the main part of the base. I'd say most of the buildings that are important to some degree, at least the majority of them, are over on this side of the mountain range, but we can actually follow this pathway up and go through a really, really cool piece of natural terrain generation. We got this like arched rock that kind of goes over the top. I haven't tweaked this at all. I've done a little bit on the inside, which we'll get to in a second, but this is just how it naturally formed, and I think it's awesome. So we have a pathway that goes through the middle of that, another very small terraformed waterfall, again just another one that kind of like spread all over the place, so I've kind of just closed it in. I think I've actually done that to all the waterfalls in the mountain ranges here. I think there might be a couple still left to do, but like that one for example has been slightly tweaked. I think it just makes it look a little bit nicer and looks realistic enough in the terms of Minecraft that it could have potentially generated like that if you got really lucky. So we come through here and we have some rock carvings. Originally I had a chicken farm, but then all hell broke loose and I was just getting tons of chickens randomly appearing in the mountains, so I got rid of that and yeah, replaced it with some rock carvings. We got, oh goodness, I forgot what this is meant to represent. I think this is meant to be a mountain, this is meant to be like a house, my base, the sun, and something. I can't remember. Then we got spider face, creeper face, and zombie face. And I think that's it. Maybe there's actually one more. Yeah, there's just a cool little shape up on this spot. But yes, anyway, this goes through to the other side of the mountain range where we have a lot more builds, none of which are early editions. I think most of these got built, you know, post 50 episodes, I would say, over the halfway mark. But we'll check them out nonetheless. I suppose we can start with this one, even though it kind of links to a separate build. I'll say it anyway. We got this meteorite here that has smashed into the ground and is smoking away. And yeah, it's a meteorite. Crashed into the mountain. What more is there to say? But there's supposedly some power emanating from it, which you may notice we have these pillars going down the mountain, and they go all the way over there, up there, and eventually get to the monolith. But hold your thoughts on that, we'll get to that later. I'm trying to get through all of the snowy builds first of all. I guess before the sun sets, we'll quickly take a look at the doghouse over here. This is where Clifford's offspring or friends, I can't remember how they came about, if I read them through Clifford or went out to find them separately, but this is their humble abode. Got a bone-shaped swimming pool, which is kind of fun, and we can actually go take a look at them. How do I get in here again? Press this, open this, and here they are. I've forgotten their names. Oh, I'm such a bad owner. Clyde, maybe one of them is? It's CL. Clyde and Claudia. It's not that, but it's something along the lines of it. I'm sure you guys know. You are better dog owners of my own pets than I am. If we just come back onto the pathway, we can either take a left and go to the monolith, the dam, and the nuclear reactor building, but we'll come to that in a second. Instead, we'll take a right and head to some of these buildings. And the first one is actually my lumber mill. This is a really cool bird. I think this is one of the first. No, I think that one might have been the first one we did over here. It's one of the first ones. It's my lumber mill. It's working in quotation marks. It's meant to look as though it's working. We got some cranes doing some stuff. A snowcat, I think this is what it's called. I called it a snowmobile in the video, and I remember a lot of people saying I was wrong. Snowcat seems right, pulling a sled full of logs. We got some more refined logs over here. And yeah, it's all stuff is like meant to be happening. I have set up some auto crafters here, so I put in planks and then I can select if I want slabs, stairs, or trapdoors. It doesn't have much use because if I need something crafted in bulk, I can do it quicker than an auto crafter can. But it's a cool little thing regardless, and the stuff pops up over here. we can actually get up to the top level, which I think is mostly just a conveyor belt, if I remember correctly. Yes, okay, so we got this conveyor belt that starts from the outside, from the crane passing them onto the logs, or the logs onto the conveyor belt. They come up here, grind it up with these wood cutters, not stone cutters. Go around here, cut up even smaller, and then they fall into the refined wood section, which is just a bunch of campfires. It's again, one of those things you kind of got to use your imagination. But we have this staircase that leads underground to my tree farm. So one of the builds that I'm a little bit ashamed of, and not ashamed, that's not the right word, but it's got a TNT duper, and I'm not too happy with using it, but I made a valiant sacrifice in that episode where I threw away an entire shulker box of TNT and convinced myself that because I did that, it was okay to use this thing. And I do use it from time to time. Honestly, not as much as you expect. Sometimes I just need like a stack of logs and I'll just go chop them by hand. Honestly, easier that way. But we come up here and we end up in the same spot through the bubble column, where we can actually go out this door. Hello, kitty. I've got a bunch of these up, by the way, as creeper protection. They do have a special name that can be deciphered. Never seen anyone actually mention it in the comments, though. And you can't see what the name is, so you can't even decipher it in this video. You're going to have to go back and see what some other ones are. What is that out there? By the ladder. Oh, it's a wandering trader, isn't it? Yep. Okay. It's going a little bit crazy. So we can come out this way, and yeah, I guess next we'll go to the art museum. This build is purely aesthetic. There isn't a single bit of functionality to it, unless I'm forgetting something. But I'm actually really proud of this build. It's the only build, or at least when I made it, it was, that didn't have any spruce wood. I use spruce in basically all of my builds. There's usually at least one trapdoor sitting somewhere. There isn't any spruce in any part of this build, inside or out, which I thought was a bit of a challenge for me. It actually kind of was. But here we have some very, very carefully placed paintings. Every single painting in the game is on display here. Some of my custom ones are up, which is what a couple of these are in case you don't recognize them. But it took a really long time to place all of these in a way that like aesthetically looked nice, but also kind of fit them all in. I did have to put some underground. It was the really big ones that I couldn't get placed down, but I think I did a pretty good job at spacing these out correctly. No lie, I spent a good like 2 hours figuring out how to place down all these paintings, so I hope you think it's worth it. Over here we have some maps, just of a big lake and a nice bit of terrain. I don't think there's any significance to them. I think they're just there to look pretty. That is code that can be deciphered somehow. I can't remember. Oh, I remember. Okay, I'll let you figure it out if you want. And then this is just a bunch of rubbish. Okay, cool. But down underground is where we have the rest of the paintings that I couldn't quite fit up here. It was all of the really big ones. Just these final 4. Other than that, every single painting, unless they add any more in the future, are upstairs. But once we finished this, I actually did a separate episode quite a few number later where I made an addition to display my favorite painting in the game, which is a custom one that I made. It is the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Look at it over there. Oh, it's so beautiful. Behind lots of layers of defense. And that, by the way, is map art. You probably know, but just in case that hasn't been added to Minecraft, it's a map that maybe if we remember later, I can go check it out. I've placed in every single one of these blocks by hand and made a map of it, and it looks like that. It's very pretty and possibly worth the effort, possibly not. I'm unsure, but it's a nice little addition to the art museum nonetheless. Oh, that's a long staircase. Finally got to the top, but we pop out on the other side and come up this hill to the Armistead Museum. It's another museum. I don't think it's actually called Armistead Museum in the episode where we did it, but essentially it's a building that displays every single armor stand, or not every single armor stand, sorry, armor trim. All of these I spent a long time gathering up every single one of them and making duplicates. Cost a fortune in diamonds. I even got the silence one, wherever that may be. Over here. Again, these are named, so if I didn't have my name tag resource pack, you'd be able to see what they are. But yeah, it just displays all of the item or armor stands. Oh my goodness, I can't get the words out. Armor trims in the game. Up until when they added some more, I haven't included those, I don't think. So there are a couple missing, but yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, unless did I put them? Oh, I put them up here, I think. No, maybe not. I'm definitely missing some, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is the armor stand building. The first one that we made over here on this side of the mountain range, and it looked very lonely for a long time. I made this and didn't do anything else. We've only just recently, last episode, added in all of these trees around here, which, by the way, every tree you see here on this island is a custom tree. It is, they're all slightly different from each other, some really tall, some short stubby ones, but they're all custom, hand-placed. It takes me ages, and I don't want to do it again for a while, because I spent quite a long time last episode. But this is a more recent addition, I would say, in the grand scheme of things. It's my train station and train going all the way through my base, or at least supposedly so. So we got this sort of Studio Ghibli Japanese-inspired train station. There's actually some signage up here. I can't remember what I wrote. Okay, just a bunch of gibberish, basically. Making up stuff to put on signs. And then we come from the station onto the train tracks where a train is pulling in. And this is probably another one of my favourite parts of this base. I just think it looks really cool from a distance if we just fly on over this way. Kind of spoiling what's to come later. Sorry about that, in case you've never seen this before. But I think it just looks really cool with the train track going all the way over. And just this shot, it looks really cool. I use it quite a lot for cinematic footage in my videos. If I ever need like a nice sort of sideways horizontal shot, I like to get the train in there. But this is actually fully furnished, if that's the right word, on the inside. We got the main carriage or train at the front. This is the fuel cart full up of coal, as you can see. And then we can actually somehow, how do I get onto the carriages? I'm gonna have to fly in, aren't I? Gonna have to do a dive bomb, land on top of the coal. There we go. So all of the carriages, all maybe 6 of them, are furnished, and they are essentially exactly the same. The seats and the sort of overhead storage vary ever so slightly, just so they're not complete carbon copies, but yeah, totally furnished train. I don't quite know why I feel the need to show you the ins and outs, almost just to kind of prove it, that they are there and they are slightly different, but eventually we get to the end of the train, the caboose. Oh, missed a little bit of string. I find that sometimes I'm just walking around old builds and I see snow layers, so have to come back and stringify that. But we come to the caboose where... Okay, I don't think I put anything in here. That's alright. And then down there is a very long, never-ending tunnel that definitely doesn't just hit black concrete about 50 or 60 blocks back. No, it goes all the way along, for sure, definitely. Yeah. I think that is all of the builds that are actually in the mountain biome covered, with the exception of these 2 over here, but we're going to make our way around and get to them afterwards. So for right now, we're going to make our way over to the monolith and the nuclear reactor and the dam and all of that over there, but we're going to take a bit of a different approach and actually fly out this way, and there should be on the outside of this mountain range a minecart rail that is ever so slightly sticking out. Here it is. I knew it was somewhere right at the bottom, or at least towards the bottom. I'm only going from this way because I think it's the best way to get the best view of the monolith as you approach it. But we have this tunnel going all the way through the mountain. Keep meaning to expand it out that way and do something there. Just not sure where I would take it. There is a lever you can flick and switch and go down that way, which goes to a really long rail line back to spawn. But honestly, if the minecart keeps jittering about like this, I'm probably not going to take you on it. Because it's like a 7-minute journey. and it feels very strange on minecarts at the moment for some reason. But anyway, we exit out the tunnel and we are greeted by the massive monolith, which I just think it looks awesome. It's so imposing, and I see it like wherever I am in my world. Possibly looks a little bit out of place. Oh, get me off that thing. That's horrible. But I love it. I think it's really cool. There was a whole backstory as to why this is floating and why it's mysteriously broken apart from its stand and is levitating into the sky. We did an episode all about adding lore into this world and came up with some whole reason as to why that was. There is actually a build that we'll check out in just a second, which kind of relates to that. But I totally over-engineered this part of the monolith. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically, if you were to take away all these floating bits, you could slot the top part of the monolith back into this part like a puzzle piece. So you can see this block that I'm stood on stands out quite a bit compared to the others, meaning that one there recedes further than the others, if you know what I mean. Basically, it all lines up perfectly. Totally over-engineered. I did not need to do that at all. I just thought it was a cool little thing, so I like to mention it because unnecessarily, it took a lot of effort. But that is our monolith. And then if we just go down onto this path and then loop around to the side, we can go to what I think was the wizard's castle or something, wasn't it? I can't remember exactly. The story went along the lines of there was once a wizard who lived in a house or a castle that is what this is right here, before it went all crumbled and ruined, and then he gained power. Oh, that was it, from the meteorite, I think, and then made it float into the sky or something. I told you the meteorite would link up somehow. Yeah, it's to do with the wizard's power or something. Anyway, this is now all ruined and totally destroyed, so it's been repurposed as like a raiders camp. Got some heads on pikes. Very pretty stuff. But yeah, that is the wizard's castle and the giant floating monolith. And if I remember correctly, I feel like I'm saying that a lot today, but honestly, I've got so many things in this world because I've done quite a lot. I do honestly forget. Yeah, there's a zombie trapped in here. I felt like I needed one mob trapped inside of this thing because I made like an actual interior and almost jail. And a zombie was just in here already spawned, so I gave him a name tag and he kind of just hangs out in here. And when it gets dark, stuff spawns in there with him to keep him nice and company. Now we're going to head down from the monolith to the most famous build in this world here. It is my functional dam. This is like the best video I've ever had performance-wise. It did really well, brought so many people into the channel, so a lot of you are probably watching because of this dam. So I like it for that reason, because it's grown my community, which I'm very thankful for, but also it's a, I guess pun intended, it's a damn cool build. It really is. We have a water tower here, which was actually inspired from a water refinement tower or something. I can't remember its exact job. In Wales, there's a lake called Lake Fynwy, I can't remember exactly, and it's kind of based off that. So that's what we have here, which actually controls the dam. All of this was made from scratch, right? I believe this whole lake, you can tell that because it's totally made out of dirt. So I made this into a lake, or yeah, I think I did. Pretty sure, or I at least filled it with water. There wasn't water here before, so I went round layer by layer, filling it with water. So this tower that we have in the water is meant to be the dam control tower. Hello, do you want to get out? There you go, my friend. And then we can go up here, I think. What's this? Oh, that's redstone. Okay, we don't touch that in the middle, but we can come up this ladder here. Actually cross over like a little bridge almost to the main control tower. Now, I did some redstone here a while ago, so I don't know if this still works, but that should turn the dam on and off. Should. There we go. The pistons are shutting there, stopping the water flow, and then we can flick it again. Oh, the bee's up here now. Okay, hey buddy. So then we can turn it back on, I hope. There it goes. Just takes a little bit of time sometimes. But yeah, that is our water or dam control tower and dam, which I guess we can go walk along. Sure, why not? I will just come down to this point right here because we have a cave that I've just taken the water into. Haven't made this look super pretty in comparison to some of the other waterfalls, but I needed this to trail off somewhere because if I was going to build a lake, I just kind of felt like it had to go somewhere. And usually what I do is I just trail it off into a cave or something, and then I'm pretty sure I just dig down. Oh, I didn't do it this time. Usually I would just dig down until I find another cave, and then I kind of make it all seem like one whole connected water source, you know? Give it a location for the water to actually trail off to. Otherwise, I feel like it would just kind of fill up indefinitely or forever and overflow. Totally wouldn't, because this is Minecraft and it doesn't work like that, but feels right anyway. But if we just take this pathway on back up to the monolith, and we'll actually do a little shortcut just so we can go all the way across the dam, we can see the other side of it, which is yet another custom lake. This is all built by hand. We got the little waterfall over on the other side where that horse is trying to climb up to beside the pumpkins. And then also fairly certain that most of this terrain that I'll do a quick turn back on is also built from scratch. You can probably tell a difference. Yeah, it's quite sloped. All of this had to be built up to actually close in this water source because obviously water doesn't generate up quite at this level to this degree. So yeah, we got two lakes that I had to build from scratch with a big old dam going across the middle. But like I said, it was well worth the effort. It's definitely one of the projects that I spent longest on, but I'm so happy I did it. One, because it means there's more of you watching right now, which is always good. But two, it is a really cool feature point of this world. I love it. I haven't forgotten about the nuclear reactor power plant over there. We'll come back to that in a second. But for right now, I wanted to come and check out our build height tower, which we are approaching right now, and it is looming over us. So it's called a build height tower because it's exactly what it is. It goes all the way to build height. Why 319, I think? You know what? We'll actually fly up and have a look. This is another one of those projects that took a really long time to make. More so the designing. I design all of my builds in creative beforehand just because it's more efficient, honestly, and I'm better at building in creative than I am survival, obviously, like most people are. Yeah, 319. So that right there is build height. Nothing can go above that. But I do it all in creative beforehand, and this was like weeks worth of planning. It took a while because I wanted to make a tower that was obviously, you know, hundreds of blocks high, but also didn't just look like the exact same thing going all the way up. Otherwise I felt like it would look really boring. Like I could have just made a stone tower, you know, cobblestone, stone bricks, some tuff, all that sort of thing. And it would look fine, but it would have been a mass amount of the same block. So yeah, quite a lot of thought went into what blocks I actually use for this thing, and I think it has turned out wonderful. There's like a bit of a gradient going on. We start really dark at the bottom and end up with some pale oak wood at the top, so it's getting lighter the further up you go. But yeah, there's a lot to look at for this build, so I'll maybe just do a bit of a fly around. Can't really look at every single detail on a build quite this big because there is a lot of it, but it does have an interior which makes it even cooler. So let's actually go in there and have a look. Again, I don't know if we're going to be able to look at every little nook and cranny of this place because it's pretty big. There's multiple levels, but we'll take a quick overview of everything. So this is the main door, and essentially it's meant to be a library, right? That's the main thing. There are so many bookshelves in this place. It is unbelievable. I raided just about every stronghold within, you know, 20,000 blocks of my location. Decimated them. I used up all my leather supplies, traded with my librarians. I got as many bookshelves as I possibly can, and I never want to get a bookshelf again. So hopefully I don't want to make another library. But this is the first floor. We got some maps on display because I always just like displaying maps. I think they're a nice little detail. Some of these are of my builds. Some of them are No, I've built on all of these. This is a pathway that we've got going to spawn, which we'll look at in a little bit. Got an enchanting table with some floating candles. And the rail line. This is the rail line I was on about that goes to spawn, stretching all the way across. Pretty cool. So let's go up first of all, because down is what makes it even cooler. So first level is library, second level, more library, even more bookshelves. I think we got some towers here that just go up to the outside, I'm pretty sure. Yes, so we can come out to this kind of like balcony area. Then there's another ladder that goes even higher. Yep, on top of the towers here. Oh, this took a while to make. Now I'm coming back to this thing, seeing how many blocks I've had to place down for all these things. It was quite the project. But once again, definitely worth it. So that's the second level. We can then go up to this one, and you guessed it, even more books up here. And then, is there even another level? Yeah, technically like one... No, this is one more, and then we've got another one up here where we can come out onto some balconies and get some beautiful views. If only I had my render distance turned up higher, we could see a lot further. But because of how high up we are, stuff is actually like not in render distance because it's got to render downwards as well, I guess. Or at least that's where you're getting the fog effect. And then we can come all the way up to the tippity top of this tower where we have a trapdoor, which isn't quite all the way up at world height because obviously that's right at the very top there, but it's as close as we can get. So if I press this, we are going to go from world height, or close enough anyway, all the way down, not to where we started, past everything we've just done, all the way to the bottom of the world, give or take a couple of blocks. So this tower literally goes from the bottom of the world to the top of the world, and I just think that's really cool. But down here we have a maze of sorts, I believe. So once we get out the water and pick a direction, can't remember which one it is. That's a dead end. It's been so long since I've done this, I've actually forgotten which is the way to go. So this will be a true maze. I bet I'm going to pick the last one, aren't I? Yep, of course, it's the last direction I chose to go in. So we can go through here. There we are. First section complete. And then we come to another small library, and somewhere, can I remember which book? We grab a book from somewhere and a door opens. Oh, I remembered. I can't believe that. Pop that there later. I knew it was at this corner, so I had a logical guess. Come through into this room, which... Oh yeah, paintings. Okay, so one of these we can climb through. I want to say here. Yep, there it is. Oh, I'm actually quite proud of myself for remembering this. Then we come through another thing again. It's kind of like going through a dungeon, right? And this is where we stop. This is where I hold my dragon egg. For the longest time I had this thing after killing the Ender Dragon in like episode 5 or whatever. And I just had it in a chest and I wanted to do something proper with it. And I think that's pretty good. We got it on one of these shulker things or skulk things. It hold up on this pedestal. Really cool. I actually had a lot of fun doing this thing. It feels very Minecrafty, if you know what I mean. Like walking through here, the way I've done the tunnels, you could see this being an actual generated structure, which I guess is kind of the point. But let's scurry on back through, place the book back. Oh no. How do I close it? Okay, sure, that works. Oh, I still don't really understand chiseled bookshelves and redstone. But we can then go back up almost to the top. There is one more thing to look at inside of this build. Most of this is just digging all the way down to the bottom. There's nothing really here other than on this spot where we have a librarian doing some great work. Oh, you got a silk touch trade now. Oh, I locked you in place. Okay. Well, he's got a silk touch trade. I have a villager hall. There's better stuff elsewhere. He's just down here to work away. But this is where I store all of my enchanted books. I have some more than others. You can tell I got a lot of mending books over here. But I had a chest in my storage room that was just taking up or running out of room for enchanted books. So I needed a proper place to put all these. So this is where they come to. And yeah, I think it's adds a nice little bit of functionality to an otherwise totally over the top and pointless build. So I'm glad there is some sort of use to it. But yeah, that is my build height to bottom of the world tower. A really, really fun project to work on. Very time consuming though. Oh, it's nighttime. Let's go to sleep first. So last episode we connected up just about everything at the base here with pathways. The only thing that isn't linked up is what we're going to next, and it's the temple all the way up to the top there. But I do quickly just have to take you over here to this frozen lake. Now at one point there was like a big old grass patch right in the middle of all of this snow here, so I had to snowify all of that. And then there was, I can't remember if there was a lake here or if I made it frozen. I think I made it frozen, didn't I? And then, can you see that ever so slightly under the water? It's kind of meant to be a little bit faded, but it's like a animal skeleton, whale skeleton sort of thing. I'm not going to show you it properly because it looks absolutely terrible. When you can't see it through the ice, when you can see it properly in all its glory, it doesn't look as good or as menacing as that does. But yeah, just a fun little detail. That was in the video where we're adding lore to the world, which is actually where we built this. So let's have a flyover past the temple and we'll start at the bottom of the staircase, which is actually over on the other side. So at some point in time we will have our pathway reaching over here, but this whole area is just too empty right now. We'll get to it when we build some more stuff, but the terrain was just too perfect not to build the temple up on this point. So we got a bit of a winding, rickety old, crumbling apart stone staircase that goes all the way up to the top. We even have a fallen bridge going over to like a tower or some kind of statue of something. I'm not sure. Just a nice little detail, you know, collapsed bridge right in the middle. Cool detail. But then we can go further on up and we eventually get to our temple. And then we fall back down. Let's just try that again. So this is our temple, and I honestly can't remember what's down here. I think it's like the core of the mountain or something. I think it'll be a surprise. Oh yeah, that was it. Okay, so we got like the mountain's power source, the hidden power source that is, you know, the reason why the temple is built on top of it. It's sacred of some kind. And yeah, just a fun little thing that we can have some experimental stuff with lore, you know. You're just adding stuff in and trying to explain it to yourself as a guideline for what to build and how to build it, you know. It's a good way to go about it. But once again, another place up here with a lovely viewpoint. And now we can head on to some other parts of the base. Out of the snow, because yeah, we still got some more to get to. There is, oh no, we gotta go to the dam over there, or not the dam, sorry, the nuclear reactor. So tell you what, let's actually just do that right now. We can fly completely over, skip the pathway, skip everything. We'll just go there from A to B. But this is one of the more recent additions. Again, maybe another video as to why a lot of you are here right now, because you would have seen this. It is my nuclear reactor facility. It's meant to look like a nuclear reactor with the big cooling towers and the plumes of steam, sorry, not smoke, steam coming out the top. But it's actually a kelp farm. So this is my power source. It is generating tons and tons of kelp blocks down here, which I actually haven't needed to get to yet because previously I would use blaze rods. I just haven't ran out of them yet, so eventually I'll move to kelp, but I have no need at the moment. It's also an XP machine, so I can flick this lever, and if I take this out, it'll give me all the XP that is stored in this furnace. So yeah, pretty cool. I do really like this whole area. We recently added all of these platforms here. In fact, that was last episode, so I won't spend too long showing all of this off. But it really does make it look a whole lot better than what it was before. Previously, it was just basically cooling tower containment building, another cooling tower, and we had these things stretching along. Everything else was just grass. It looked very unfinished, so it's definitely a lot better now. But we have a small control panel over there, little cooling pool or something, and then we can go down here to the actual kelp farm where it is working away, and once again probably massively overkill. I'm not going to need as much fuel as it actually does make, but again, I'd rather have more than less, just in case I have to do any, you know, hefty smelting for a big project or anything like that. It's good to have a farm of this size, so you know you're not going to run out of fuel. That is now officially everything checked out in the snowy parts of the mountain. At least, I think so. I could be forgetting stuff, of course. But now we can go down into some greener parts, and very fittingly, to my greenhouse, which was actually one of the earlier builds of this world, and I do really quite like it. It's a little bit steampunk inspired. Got the big machine sort of going into either side. Not that you can see that one over there, but take my word for it. Or maybe not steampunk, but some punk variety. Garden punk, is that a thing? I'm not sure. It just feels very industrial, but also kind of pretty at the same time. There's probably some sort of style that this fits into pretty well. But this is just a cover-up for my sugarcane farm, with some nice greenery hanging from the roof, some hidden spore blossoms to get these beautiful particles, and just a front really to make it seem like we got stuff growing in here, even though, as you can see, the ground is very much dead. So it's not actually that great of a farm. Decorative vowels, not anything inside them. But if we go down here, we have my storage for my sugarcane farm, which is another farm in this world that's too good. It's too fast and I don't use enough sugarcane, so it's just like constantly full up. I should probably turn it off, but it's not that fast that I've just got items lying on the ground. It's just that they're always full up, because really I only use it for rockets, and honestly I don't use that many rockets. Not that much sugarcane's worth anyway. Over here is just a small pond, another very tiny waterfall. Or maybe this wasn't actually here already. I'm not sure. This was a long time ago we did this, so there's a small pond, which is actually, I totally forgot about until I've just seen this here, where I grow my sea pickles. If I ever need more sea pickles, I come here and do the bone mealing. Just hidden away there. I should maybe make a better farm for that at some point. A while ago we did have a bunch of frogs that lived in this water, or around this water, but they have well and truly gone. But now we can come over here to a small campsite, which is actually where the miners of the big mining settlement that we'll start checking out now stay. So it's just a bunch of different tent designs really. They're all a little bit different from each other, but similar enough that they all kind of, you know, go together. Of course, it's just a campsite. It's a bunch of tents. Nothing else really more to say about this, other than we do have two portaloos, outhouses, whatever you want to call these things. And yeah, I did do the gross thing of putting a composter in both of them. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? But probably a good time to actually settle down here for the night. Sun's going down, and then in the morning we'll check out the big project that is the mining settlement, which makes up most of the buildings that are kind of in the immediate vicinity right here. So let's find a bed and check that out now. So yes, this is the mining settlement, or the mining area. I can't remember if I actually gave this place a specific name. It's where the mining happens. When I very first had this world and started looking for seeds and everything, I found this mountain biome and immediately loved the terrain and everything, but we had this giant gaping hole in the earth, and I thought I have to do something with that. It would be perfect. I wasn't sure what at the time, but it essentially ended up being an entire mining operation, maybe that's what I called it, for ores and everything. And yeah, I don't know whether we should check out the buildings first or the hole first. Let's go down the hole. Now, I can never remember if there's an actual proper way for me personally to get down. I've made it look as though there's sort of elevators that could take you down to level by level, so I guess we'll take that, even though I just have to fall most of the way. But, you know, we can use our imagination. We can call the elevator up. Comes all the way up. Oh, we hop on, and then we go down to the next elevator, I think, right? Yep, okay, so we come down here, And then, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got another elevator. Same thing, I think. Except this one is actually all the way down at the bottom. Yeah, okay, it's set in position. But down here is where I have the actual mines, which is essentially just a bunch of strip mines. I don't think I actually ever used them for mining. I could be wrong, but they sort of go off in 3 directions, and we got a rail system that in theory, you know, would be collecting the ores and all collectively go away, come back to here, and then they're unloaded and put onto this crane, with this mini crane goes onto this big crane, which is, we're gonna have to go back up. We've come all the way down, now we're gonna have to go back up to look at this crane carrying a bunch of ores. Just land on the side here. There we go. So that is the crane that takes them all the way from the bottom to the top, and we'll get to this process in a bit, but for right now let's just dive back down. And a splash. So we've just got a bunch of mining related stuff going on in here. I'm curious. I'm going to have to see if I've actually used these. No, I've just dug part of the way in to make it look like they're used. So it's not, you know, just covered up here. It's got a bit of depth, but that's purely just an aesthetic choice. I haven't actually used them for mining. Possibly some of them I have. I'm not going to go and check every single strip mine because we don't need to. But yes, that is everything down here, I think, other than it's not really a build, but it is just a fun, like, behind-the-scenes detail that some of you might be interested in. This little hole here is actually how I get down to, like, my local cave system, where I have my lush cave, and there's a couple of other things that I don't have official entrances to get to. So, like, if I need lava, for instance, I come down here. The lush cave biome is just a bit further on that way. If I want to get a bunch of deep slate all in one go, this is where I come. So if I ever just plummet down into the center of the earth through the mining settlement, chances are I'm heading down here. Something we do need to do, because I think it's a fun detail to this entire area. Excuse me, skeleton. We have a minecart chest that actually runs on a permanent loop. Please leave me alone. In this area, but because it's such a long rail and I think sometimes it doesn't go fast enough. Similar sort of situation with the super smelter one up there. Sometimes it gets stuck, but there we go. You can just see it going around across some of these bridges. We've got this one, and then that one down there, and it's just on one whole continuous cycle. So sometimes if you're lucky, you can, oh, there it is. That was actually quite quick, I think. Sometimes if you're lucky, you'll be looking down here and you'll see the minecart whiz by. It's a fun bit of movement that I think really, you know, adds some life into the build. But I think let's start checking out some of these buildings up here. There is a specific reason or order that everything sort of happens in here. I've tried to make it make sense as always. So I guess let's start with the ore refinery building, which is where the ores first of all go. So they're brought up on the crane here, down from the mines as we said about earlier, and they're loaded onto the conveyor belt, where they're gradually being brought up into this building right here, which then sorts them into, I can't remember if I gave them specific ways to go or I've just made it look like that. I have a feeling there was an actual order as to why I've placed all of these ores where I have, but I cannot remember. Maybe it was like gemstones go that way, coal goes that way, everything else that way. I'm not sure. I'll probably remember as I go and check out some more of the buildings. But we do have a small rail system. This one doesn't actually have a cart on it at all, but I've sort of got some of these coming off from all 4 of the conveyor belt exits. So in theory, you know, there'll be a cart that come along here, pick it up from the conveyor belt and take it to its specific building, which actually, I think that is the correct thing. I think these 4 conveyor belts lead to all 4 buildings. Is that right? How many buildings do we have? I need to step back. It's been so long since I've actually looked inside some of these buildings. I have truly forgotten what I've made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Well, 4 of the buildings definitely do something. So let's pick a rail and follow it. So this one has got a piece of gold coming out of it. So it would go to here, to the gold and iron refining place, I guess. I'm not sure. That's what this building is anyway. It's meant to be some sort of ore refinery. That's essentially what all of them are to some degree. It's churning up the ores or doing something to them so they can be processed later or whatever. I'm not sure. So we got stuff like this, sort of small grinding up stations. Again, I'm just making up a load of rubbish that looks as though stuff is happening. In here I actually did some item frame stuff with the mod from Vanilla Tweaks. I tend not to do this anymore because, one, it's a lot of work, and two, it just looks a bit out of place, I think, unless you do it all the time in your world, which I don't like to. So yeah, this is one of the few occasions where I did that. I also get tons of comments every time. People ask me, what on earth is that? How have you hung the pickaxe on the tripwire hook? A mod, or a data pack, I should say. And then up the top here, I think we have like a bedroom. Nope. Oh, just sort of like storage for all of the tools. In all fairness, this is definitely one of those builds where using that data pack where you can hang the tools, it really does make sense because it does look so much nicer than just having it in an item frame. It would be definitely one of those cool things that would be added to Minecraft. I think would be a welcome fit, but I'm not to judge. I don't decide that sort of stuff, so it's not up to me. I think let's quickly hop on this rail. So this is redstone and lapis, right? Because we have blue and red in this build. I think that window there is a red window. So we can follow this rail on and go and check out this building, which I like all of the buildings in my world for their own reasons. But this one is one of the ones that I'm not that keen on. I just think it's a little bit all over the place. I don't think the colors really came together that well. And I could probably do a better job now. The same with all of these buildings, honestly. But I don't really like to change too much in my world. I plan on keeping this as my forever world, and it adds history, doesn't it, if you keep everything standing. Like this around here, oh, I don't like that. Don't like this part of the build at all, and honestly this is probably what I see more often than not, because it's so open, so maybe I should cover something up. Oh, that should not be there. Let's take that down. Whoopsie. But yeah, this is where the redstone and the lapis go, so they are once again deposited off from the invisible cart that goes along here. And now I'm going to have to remind myself what the process was in here. Again, just a bunch of mumbo jumbo that I've put together to look as though stuff is happening. Believe you me, I would have explained some sort of rubbish to you in the episode where we built this, but I truly cannot remember. There's a lapis side and a redstone side I can see. I think I was pretending they were some sort of ore that could be liquefied, which is what is happening here and filling up in this container. So we've done the sort of glass fog effect down there. I'm guessing that's to like originally crush the ore, and then this refines it into a liquid, possibly? I'm not sure. I can't remember myself, so I'm sure it made perfect sense at the time. And then up here is just a general storage room. But yes, as you can see, red and blue for lapis and redstone. The next rail we can follow comes up to the gem refinery building, which is where the emeralds and the diamonds go. So same system once again, gets chucked off by the minecart, somehow brought inside. I'm kind of imagining there's a bunch of workers or something like that doing stuff in here. But this is where we have the ore refinery. So I've used a very expensive block over here because it's such an important building, of course. So these are kind of chiseled away. You get the diamond out of the stone, you know, pushing it into here, and oh, hand tools, sort of that sort of thing, or hand done. That's not a hand tool. That would be a power tool, but yeah. And then it's refined into like blocks or tools or other things. I think this was meant to be like a polisher, possibly. And I'll be honest, I don't know what this chain is. I came in here the other day and I thought, why have I put a chain there? I think there's meant to be possibly like a lantern, but I'm sure there was a reason as to why I did it. Just can't remember, as always. It's getting a bit dark, but we just got one last refinery building check out, so we'll go pop in here quickly and hope something doesn't follow me in and blow me up. But this is the coal refinery building, which probably of all of the ones we made here, other than possibly the gold, iron and copper building just over there, I think this one might be my favorite. I like the blocks here. I think it works well. But this is where the coal goes. We got a stack going there just to the side, and same sort of system. We got some conveyor belts here that it's unloaded, followed onto and chucked into the crusher, and it all gets crushed up and goes somewhere. I don't think I actually gave it to anywhere to go. I guess maybe it's just magically picked up somehow. But yeah, we got some more tools and furnaces, all that sort of stuff. Cogs and doodads and bits and bobs. Looking like stuff is happening over here. And then I don't think there's anything else around the building. No, but it's dark. I see a creeper. I'm going to go to bed in the observatory and then we'll continue the tour once again in the morning. I've gone to sleep so many times this video. I'm going to be so well rested. The last building over here in the mining operation is for, I think, refined metals. So all of the gold, copper, and iron made in that building over there, possibly. Or maybe actually it's just all of the metals. Let's go in and take a look. I'll be reminded. Now, okay, this is just for all of the ores. I think this was like a storage building or something like that. Oh yeah, you can see we got the liquefied lapis and redstone over here using concrete powder. And then we got like a, what's this called? Ledger to keep track of everything, all of the ores going in and out. Some sort of like cable system or crane system to pick up the ores. Yeah, this was the general storage building for all of the ores being refined here in this area. And I think that is actually it, other than obviously we just got some carts dotted around carrying different stuff, and again just building things to make it look as though stuff is truly happening here, even though everything is completely static, which I think is all, you know, a very fun part of this game, making it look as though, you know, life is really happening here when really nothing moves. It's like time is frozen. That's kind of how I go about doing this thing. I think it was Fwip said once in a video, he makes his villages in a way so that it looks as though all of a sudden everybody just sort of like Thanos snapped out of existence and time stood still. So, you know, there was a person here pushing a cart, but they've gone and now this cart is just standing up on its own, and that's kind of a good way to go about doing it, I would say. So now we can either go... We'll save the farming area for a bit. This one isn't really related to the mining villages, but it does kind of match the block palette. It's one we made last episode, so I won't spend too long on it. It's just my farmer villagers. I needed some more, so made them a building here. And actually, since the last episode, I made them be eaten by a zombie, so they've all got the super cheap trades. We got 8 of them in here, I think it is. 6 downstairs and then 2 upstairs. But yes, we literally did this last episode, so we won't spend any longer on that. I guess now it's a little bit related. This over here is kind of like my mining area. If I'm going to go mining a tool, this is where I go. A while ago, like, totally ran out of diamonds and I needed more. So I made this whole thing, which was a nice excuse to build something pretty in order to do some mining. So we've got like a forge outside, and just open furnace forge. Can I actually fit in here? No, I can't. It's safe. I can't burn in the lava. With the minecart that I don't think actually has a minecart. Oh no, I think I'm wrong actually, because I'll show you. Give me a second. We're gonna have to take a... Oh, do we want to take this minecart? It doesn't take that long. We'll take it. We can take this minecart rail all the way down to, I think, the bottom of the world. It took a while to make this, as you can see. I think I started this project not realizing how far down I actually had to go, and I'd already started, and it was too late to turn back at this point. So we've got these, you know, pillars, supportive structures going all the way down to, yeah, the bottom of the world. I think this is where you're meant to go if you want diamonds, because that's kind of the purpose of this mine. It's a diamond mine. I've used it a little bit. There's, what's that, 4 strip? No, just 3 strip mines. Okay. Maybe haven't used it that much, but this is meant to be how I get the ores up, so I can see if it actually works still. I can't remember because sometimes I think the cart goes out of loading range, but we send that up and then we'll go up at the same time. Trouble is, mine takes a little bit longer because I love this sort of chugging effect where I'm almost getting, you know, about to fall back down, then I get pulled up by the powered rail. A little bit like on a roller coaster, how when you're going up a chain lift, you sort of, you're being chugged up. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it, but it's not like one fluid motion. You're sort of bouncing along, and it's a bit rickety, which I think fits with the general mining vibe that we got going down here. But it does mean it takes a while. So when we do eventually get to the top, there we go, of that weirdly laggy minecart. Really don't know what's happening with that. Okay, the cart definitely would have beaten us, and I think gone back down to the bottom. But we'll take a look, see if it did work. We got a door around the side of this thing with a chest, with a golden carrot and some deep slate. So yeah, that's in theory. I would do some mining, send the resources up, they get dumped off in the chest. I know it makes no sense whatsoever. I could just carry it up myself, put it in a shulker box, put it in my end chest, whatever. But it's just another fun detail to add to the many list of things we have in this world. And real quickly, we will go up the staircase, but we have actually seen this build before. You will recognize it from earlier. It is the wool farm. This is my more official entrance as to how I get to this thing if I just need to nab a quick bit of wool. Who doesn't love a giant wheat field? I just think there's something about crop fields in this game taking up a massive, expansive area that just looks so good. I can't quite explain it. I see it done quite a lot, so obviously it's got to be true. But that's exactly what this entire area is. It's just crop field after crop field, and eventually way down there we get to flower fields. But we got a ways to get through first of all, so let's go bit by bit. That's a wall, that's why I can jump on it. Over here in this crop field we have a combine harvester harvesting the crops. I had a lot of fun with this build. Vehicles and stuff like that, not something I ever really try, and I think this has actually turned out pretty well. I mean, you can tell what it's meant to be. Some things are a bit of a stretch. I actually remember reading a comment from someone saying that I built this on the wrong side. All combine harvesters have this like pole thing on the other side of the combine harvester, but I'm not about to rebuild it just to switch it around. It's okay. In this world, it can be the opposite. So we got a combine harvester here, and then I don't think there's actually anything until we get to this very small village, just sort of in and amongst all of the fields. Very cute little place. All of the builds are really dinky, and I think it's a nice little addition to sort of break up the mass amount of fields, because no matter how cool all these look, they do really grab your attention, which is why I'm kind of glad I decided to put it around the side of the base instead of like making it front and center, because it does still, you know, grab your eye a little bit, but it's not, you know, right there. It's tucked away to the side. Let me fly away and show you. You'll see what I mean a bit more. So say if we built it right where the mining settlement is, that's like right in the center. At least this way it's kind of tucked off to the side, sort of on the edge of the base. But yes, that is our tiny little village, and then we can carry along this way, and eventually we get to one of the two farmhouses. We've got two of these, one of them over here, sort of a more stony cottage sort of thing. I can't remember if I actually put anything inside. Let's go have a look. I definitely would have furnished it, but I don't think there's anything of use. I think it is literally just furnished, so it looks like a nice farmhouse. Yep, okay, and that is perfectly fine. Not everything has to have a use. Out the back, we just got a small garden. I think there's even a tree swing to use. But then if we come back around the front, we can... What is this meant to be? It's got to be something. I don't know what the sea pickles are meant to be representing, but it's there, that's for sure. We can continue around this way, and the wall, of course, is kind of meant to be very representative of the sort of old, what are they called? I've forgotten the name of them completely. The walls you would get in the countryside in this country, the UK a lot, where they're not actually, there's no mortar involved. I've completely forgotten the name of them. There's no mortar, it's just like stacked rocks that have been there for, you know, hundreds of years, and you see them now and they're all sort of falling apart, but they've still got that structure remaining. That's what this is like sort of meant to be inspired by. It's very reminiscent of home, this area is, I gotta say. But this is our second farmhouse. I think we can still call it a farmhouse. Pretty sure this one was tailored more towards the animals, because we do actually have a couple of animal sort of areas. I think we got some sheep over here with their own little shelter and food supplies, and I keep meaning to, not that there's any sheep variants, but we got some cow variants further on that way, which we'll get to in a second. I keep meaning to bring like the new ones over, I just haven't got round to it yet because they're really far away. So that is the sheep area that we have. Again, just to kind of break up and do something different in the field so it's not just crops and only crops. We'll go in and have a little look here, see what we got, because once again I've forgotten. I think similar sort of thing. Bedroom upstairs, yep. Got some kind of wardrobe, and then down here, what is behind this mass amount of trapdoors? Oh, just a separate area. Okay. With a back door. That's alright, that works. Then we can come back through the other side. And then, I guess we can start making our way round to the windmill. Pretty sure, unless there's anything else I'm forgetting about. I think there's 2 ways to actually get to the windmill. There's another pathway over there. But if you, I guess actually while the sun's setting, let's go this way. And you can have a pre-glimpse, oh, big lag spike then, at the flower fields. Same as the wheat ones, just even more colourful. We won't go all the way over here because you can see it perfectly fine from this angle. But we just got the cow field, similar to the sheep. Just with a couple of cows, not too many. I don't actually use them for farming or anything like that. They're just there because adding some movement and life with their big shelter. But let's head back. Try to get inside before it gets too dark and stuff starts spawning. But this is our giant windmill right in the center of this entire area. And I think it is a perfect focal point for what we have here. Obviously very fitting for all of the surroundings. But inside we do have a little bit of pretend functionality. So down here we've got the finished product, cakes, and I think I was meant to say these were like loaves of bread or something like that. Pretty sure, not sure what the sea pickle was meant to be again, but I'm sure they had a reason in the episode when we did it. We can go up to the second level, and this is kind of like general storage, and then we can go up once again to the actual milling process. So the windmill is just out the front there, connected to the mill, churning up all of the crops and whatnot, wheat and barley and whatever else you want to pretend. We got some sort of baking tray and furnaces and all little doodads once again dotted around. And then I think it should be safe up the top here because there's a light that turns on when it's nighttime. Yep, nothing spawned. We're okay. And we get a pretty nice view of the surroundings, which I guess let's go to sleep and we can have a bit of closer look at the flower fields. There it is at nighttime in case you're curious. There's a bunch of mobs spawning inside of them, so we'll have to be careful. But yeah, let's go to bed, and then in the morning we'll make our way into the more colourful of the fields around here. So these are the flower fields, a more recent addition to the crop area we have here. Originally, the crop fields stopped at this point where we have our hedge line, but fairly recently we took down that hedge, built a pathway going through the middle, and added in all of these flowers. Which, let me tell you, was a bit of a grind. Or maybe not a grind, it just took a really long time to get all of these flowers. We've got a flower farm up there in the farmhouse, which we'll take a look at. But we have, I think, 6 fields of flowers. We've got rose bushes, we've got wildflowers, peonies, lilacs, is it, up there? Yes. Sunflowers just over this spot. And then also the pink petals. Now, the 2 tall flowers, the rose bushes, peonies, sunflowers, lilacs, perfectly fine. These, oh boy, these took not only a while to get, because obviously for every single flower, oh, it's raining, that's lovely. Doesn't really match the aesthetic of the flower forest area, or flowery area. Anyway, each one of these is 4 flowers, so for every single block that I've got placed down, there's 4 flowers. It really took a long time for the wild ones, especially because the field is pretty large. I can't remember exactly how many flowers it was. In fact, I could probably check my statistics. Have a look, maybe, see if I can find it. Possibly how many I've placed? Yeah, okay, just one short of 18,000. So that's how many I placed down over there. Yeah, it took a while. But this is the farmhouse. A little bit of a different block palette. I wouldn't say sandstone really matches a farmhouse. I always imagine it being sort of stone or wood, like what I've done back over there, but I think it's still pretty nice, and again, something different. I like using the different blocks and trying new palettes. But inside we have a pretty standard looking farmhouse. We got storage, we got a bedroom up here, Oh, and another one of my paintings. There it is. I knew I had it in a couple of other spots. You can get a bit of a closer look at it from here. But yeah, we got the bedroom and all the farmhouse essentials, and then through this room we have the actual flower farm. Well, yeah, flower farm. So I step on this pressure plate, observers trigger these dispensers and grow the flowers, and I put them all in this chest. So yeah, there was a lot of bone meal required for this project, but I would say pretty worth it because it is a really cool area, and I think is a lovely addition to our crop fields that were already here before. Now we can start moving on to some of the parts of this base that are connected via a pathway. They're just a bit further away, like our bee village over there. So we do actually have a pathway that we did in the last episode that connects us. I wanted to kind of have everything in the near vicinity connected with a pathway. So yeah, that's something we did last episode. So pretty fresh in the memory. And it's just a pathway. It doesn't need much of a tour, but this one's only a short one, so we can run the distance. But eventually we get through the trees and we open up into our bee village, which I'm guessing is going to be pretty quiet at the moment because, well, the bees are all inside because it's raining, which is a little bit sad, but it's not dark enough to go to sleep yet, and we got a tour to get on with, so unfortunately you're just going to have to imagine this place is buzzing with life and there's bees everywhere. But yeah, we kind of did a combo of like a regular village with regular houses and bee nests, which is exactly what these builds are meant to be, like big beehives basically. So you can actually go inside of them. We climb up the ladder here. We have some beehives inside of these, and the bees are obviously sort of trapped inside, so it's kind of meant to be like the bees that are in the nests would then, you know, do their flower searching outside, come inside through the nest, and then pretending to the ones that are inside of here are the same bees, you know? So, like, they come literally inside to the hive, and it's like you've stepped in the bee nest, if that makes sense. Hopefully. So we just have a few of them dotted around, and tons of flowers. It's something I keep meaning to do, but I always put it off. I want to rearrange how I've got these flowers and group them a little bit better so it's not as, you know, crazy looking, but at the same time it kind of works. I like it regardless, but we will just follow. There it is. There is another pathway round to an extra little bit of the bee area, and that is my apiary, whichever one it is. This is where I was breeding up all of the bees, so we've just got a nice greenhouse looking thing with all of these beehives around the side, which I think are still actually full of bees. So if I ever need more for whatever reason, I've got them here. But yes, that is the bee area. And now I'm just trying to think, where did I follow this pathway off to? Tell you what, let's just do a little sprint partway through the forest. Oh no, that's going to go somewhere. Bear with me, I'm just trying to get my strand. I'm trying to figure out where to go next. Sure, let's follow this one. We're going to go to one of the builds that are a little bit further away. But that's fine. It's connected via this pathway, so it's probably a pretty good one to do. You may also notice in the top right corner, I've got conduit power, which I guess you get when it's raining. I thought you had to do it in the water. It's down there. Maybe we'll go check out what that conduit power is in a second. Yeah, I guess you get that when it's raining. Cool, I don't see how that's really beneficial to me out of the water, but thanks anyway. So eventually we come to the dark forest, and at some point we make our way up to my Halloween build from last year, I think. Or, sorry, the year before, 2024. I'm still recording this in the previous one. Yes, here we are. This is my pumpkin / witch house, where we've got a nice load of pumpkins being grown outside. We got some scary scarecrows, and of course a witch hut shaped as a pumpkin. Pretty adorable, I think, with the little stalk on top. But inside, of course, we've got to have the witch. Hello, with your big wart. How you doing? Bouncing away. And her cat, which I think has a name, but I can't remember. Again, name tags making them not show. Oh, we've got something down here. I cannot remember what I've got down here. Oh, a pumpkin farm. And a melon farm, I think. Oh my goodness. Okay. Can you tell I forgot about it? Wow, yeah, okay, I should probably come sort this out and put some of that into shulker boxes. Completely forgot this was here. I don't think I needed it for any reason. I just didn't have one of those farms before, so I guess I built one. That's okay. At least I know I've got pumpkins and melons if I ever need them. So this pathway eventually... Actually, I don't think this pathway does connect to that building because that's actually on an island. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do a little fly and then we will splash right down into my axolotl pond, lake, village, whatever you want to call this place. So is my conduit power working? Yes. I'm not drowning. That's good. So this is where the conduit power is coming from. We had this like lake, I guess, river that I sectioned off here with this bit of land and built it all the way across, kind of made like a fake wall. That's a waterfall that I'm going to have to improve the look of. That looks very ugly. But I had it coming, or turned this whole area into like an axolotl sanctuary. I think that's what I called it. So they have a great time continuously killing the salmon that spawn in here. They have a perpetual life of misery. They are just constantly spawning and dying. And I do feel a little bit bad for them, but my axolotls enjoy it, which is the main thing. I can't actually remember how many I've gotten here. I thought it was more than what I'm seeing, I'll be honest. Maybe they're all just kind of like stuck in places like this. Yeah. That's alright, they don't seem to mind. So I think we've got all of the axolotl colors in here other than the really rare one. Unless I'm mistaken, but yeah, I wasn't about to spend hours upon hours of my life searching for it. So I just stuck with the original lot. But as you can see, it's kind of meant to be like a Atlantis-inspired underwater village, small scale Atlantis, shall we say? And it's a really cool build. I want to do some more underwater stuff for sure once I update my world to the newest version with the Nautilus and everything. I'd love to build like a proper underwater base, like actually underwater, being able to swim around and everything. But I'm still in 1.21.10, so not there yet. Gotta wait for my mods. But there is one cool part about this build which I can never remember how to get to. I think on the other side, you can see we got a bit of a window there. Ironically, it's actually a better view if you just get in the water and swim around because of the conduit power. But, oh no, this is still underwater. Okay, I thought I cleared this area out. I guess not. Well, you can have a hazy view if for some reason you'd rather have that than the nice conduit look of everything over there. But yeah, that's my axolotl area. Another one that I sadly forget about quite a bit, purely because it is just underwater and kind of tucked out the way. But a really cool build. This was a lot of fun to work on. I love doing stuff that's kind of centered around a mob, and this is a prime example of that. We've come back up to the base now to go along this pathway, which eventually leads to the big building that I mentioned earlier, which is my villager trading hall. This is where I go to do all of my villager trading. Was a pretty big project to come up with. Not only is the build, you know, fairly massive, but we also got the big bridge, had to do a bunch of terraforming on that island, and also make a villager trading hall inside of the thing. Yeah, it was like a 3-episode project, I think. Nowadays, I'd probably cram it all into one, but for what I used to do with my videos, it took a while. Another big planning project for this one, for sure. Had a lot of fun, though, because I just love this block palette. There's something about the white and the diorite and everything with the red mangrove. Very, very pretty. I did also, and I forgot about it until I just noticed then, all of the like cave openings in this area, I mossified, and I think it looks really cool because it looks like there's a lush cave in there. There isn't. I've just gone crazy with the bone meal and the moss, but I think it's nice. So there's a little tip if you want to make your cave holes a bit more interesting. But we can come in here. This is a pretty laggy part of my world just because it's so many entities crammed into such a small area. But this is my main source of emeralds if I ever need them. So you know the trick. You buy glass off the librarian, craft it into panes, and sell it to the cartographers for 1 pane for 1 emerald. Easy money. We've got 1, 2, and then 2 more at the top, so we've got 4 lots of them. If I go round to these guys like once in a day, I get like stacks upon stacks of emeralds. It is way more overpowered than what I require, but it's helpful should I ever need it. We also have the zombie trick trapped behind here somewhere. There he is. So if I need to get their trades any lower, I don't because they're already at the lowest point. I can, feed them to the zombie automatically. Poor guys, they are really imprisoned here. But up the top, we have a similar sort of thing, just with a nice cluster of paintings. That's cool. Just with all of the different trades. I think I've got every single trade available. Yeah, but over on this side are the sort of more frequented ones. We got our farmers, our stonecutters, and our clerics. Those I use more often, and these guys rarely, just because they don't really have anything that I want. So their trades aren't really the best. I probably could have gotten better versions of them, like the weaponsmith here. Not great enchantments, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I can get a diamond axe for 1 emerald if I want. So not too bad overall. But one of my favorite parts of this build, and I'm not sure if it's downstairs. We can go back down here. Is we got some windows, and nope, it's not this side. I think it's actually outside. We're gonna have to see it. Where is it? There it is. We got some windows, and using some of the stained glass, I created a villager head, which is pretty cute. It's fun. It's subtle. I like it. And then somewhere else, I think we have like an emerald window somewhere. Not that one. There is a literal emerald in that window, but that's not what I'm talking about. I think it might be out the front. Possibly. Nope, okay, I'm totally mistaken. Maybe that was on a previous trading haul I did in another world long time ago. But yeah, we got some funky windows. Really cool build. Had a good time doing that one. Coming back up once again to the pathway in the mining area, we can follow this one along and you get a little glimpse of it right now. But once we make our way through the trees, we come to the horse stable sanctuary, whatever this place is called again. Another build focused around animals, and I really like this one. This was a fun episode to do, not only making all of this, but also we were breeding up all of these horses to try and get a really, really fast one, which is that guy down there. His name is Torino. He's just about as fast as you can make a horse in Minecraft without spending like literal days doing it. He's, you know, a couple of seconds short off like max speed or whatever, so he's pretty speedy. If I want to go somewhere on horse, I usually take this guy, but sadly, just at the point in the world that I am, I fly everywhere. I wish I didn't. I wish I had the patience to take a horse or to walk, but I don't, which is why it's quite nice doing a big tour like this, because I get to walk around and see everything. But we have all of the horses here, most of which are ones that didn't make the cut. So the original 2 somewhere, and then bred and bred more, and eventually got Torino over there. And I think the rest of these guys that we've got in the stable are pretty fast, though I can't really remember. And then the odd one here or there are horses I've just kind of like rescued and brought them over, because why not? So we'll have a quick look in the farmhouse before taking a look at some of the other stuff around here. So down on the bottom level, it's just like stables and whatnot. Hello, bee. How did you get over here? They are so stupid. The amount of times I just find the bee stuck on a trapdoor somewhere. It's a very common occurrence. But yeah, we got all of them, I think, donning the diamond armor. Yeah, pretty sure all of them are. So the best of the best are down here, and then we got some more up the top, alongside more farmer villagers. There you are, because I can always need more golden carrots. So I've got, I think it's like 14 farmer villagers just dotted around this world for my food supply, which I need more of actually. I've gone through it all again. But yes, that is the stable. Let's head out the back. Sure, why not? We've got a big carriage, whatever you want to call this, pulling some hay bales, which could connect up to the tractor. Another vehicle that I made, I'm actually pretty proud of. I think it turned out really nicely. I mean, you can see it's meant to be a tractor. Maybe some detail bits are missing, but I've got the shape right, which is always the hardest thing. And actually, pretty sure you can go inside this thing. Yeah, you can. So if I want to drive it, I just sit up here and sit in the cockpit. It's not a cockpit, but you know what I mean. This is sort of like an attachment you would put on the front if you want to harvest the crops around here. And then I don't think there's anything else over this side. We'll do a quick sprint over round the back, across the front of the stable, where we've got a barn and a silo. So this is just like a wheat silo filled up to the brim. We've done some stuff here. Again, more chains and grindstones looking as though stuff is happening. Can't remember what exactly, doesn't matter. Wheelbarrow, and yeah, just a silo. But I really like this block palette. The bamboo and like the mangrove logs and the mud brick. I think it all works really nice together. Can highly recommend. Over here, a little bit of a different palette, but you gotta have a big red and white barn, which is exactly what that is. So just sort of like hay storage and equipment storage. I think this is what is meant to be up here. Yeah. So storage barn, not actually a barn for the animals, for the equipment. And then I think that, oh, and we got like a little stall outside to sell some farming goods for, you know, local people who come and pick up some stuff, you know, like you would have maybe like a small addition in a farmhouse, a farm shop. Sorry, not farmhouse. But I think while we're over here, because you just saw a glimpse of it through the bushes, we can follow this path and come to our Japanese-inspired temple for fishing. Is what this is. It's my like zen place in this world. It's where I come if I just want a minute just to relax. I've got instructional signs to tell me what to do. And yeah, we can go fishing. I didn't actually end up writing anything in this book. I asked for ideas of what I could like come and jot down in here. Some people said like use it as like a journal or to write haikus. Just haven't actually gotten around to doing that. But in here we have another one of my paintings. Some cats and parrots precariously placed on top of these lightning rods. That was not fun to do. Not in the slightest. But we can make them do a little dance, which nice and relaxing. That calms me down. I like that. But yeah, this is where I come if I just want to do some fishing out into my zen garden. We got some bees, got a nice pond, loads of greenery and colours and everything. It's a very pretty place, I gotta say. And then, of course, this turns into a waterfall going down the mountain over to there. Oh, this actually might be a better idea of what I do, because I'm fairly certain I did it with this one, where I... Yep, funnel it into a just cave. So, oh my goodness, this is far down. Wasn't expecting it to go this deep. There we go. I knew it would go somewhere. So it goes into an underwater cave, so it kind of looks like it has a final source. But it is dark as anything, and I need to be quick to get out, or I will drown down here. We're actually nearly done with the base tour part of this world tour. There's just a couple more builds to get to before we can start heading either into the nether, or we've got our pathway that I might take you guys along. But yeah, there's 2 more builds to get to, I think, unless I'm, again, forgetting anything, which is very, very possible. You'll have to let me know in the comments if I have. But up here, once we get through the trees, is my botanical garden. Again, one of the more recent additions, so we won't spend super long here. But this is a nice feature point on what was a very ugly part of my world. This is where I would always come and get my dark oak wood, and I just had this like bold patch up here, and you just had this horrible like, it's not a horrible color, but it's very dark and gloomy when it's got no trees around, which is exactly what it was. So I had to build a nice botanical garden up here. We'll just do a quick run through because, like I said, it is a very recent addition to the world, so a lot of you have probably seen this. But here we have every single plant, or what Minecraft classifies as a plant. I remember I put coral in here, and I had so many people tell me coral's an animal, which I know, but like it's in the plant section in Minecraft, okay? So it works. But up here is the flower forest, so we've got all of the flowers, a nice big cherry tree, and I think some of the rare flowers too, the pitcher pods and pitcher plants, torch flowers, whatever they're called, over here, all the leaf litter, the pink petals. I've got everything. Actually, there is one thing I forgot. That's another thing people told me. I forgot the wither rose. That's alright. So I've kind of made this as a bit of a museum, which is why all the signs are here and everything. We've got like separate rooms. We've got an opening, entrance to the museum, guy at the till you can pay for or pay towards. So we've got all of these different zones. Now I'll do a very quick run through but I won't spend all of them. So like we've got too long in all of them. So we've got the cave. Everything you find down in the caves is down here. And then same with the nether. All of the stuff here, sort of like mini biomes is what I've done for those two. We can go out the exit, out the one-way system. And then, shut the door. Through this way, we have the evergreen forest, which is all of the like tiger trees and the dark forest, berries and the ferns and everything. I've tried to sort of spread out so it makes sense and it's like biome dependent. The harvest grounds is all of the crops, the wheat, flour, pumpkins, melons, all of that sort of stuff. I've also added in every tree, or a small version of every tree. We've got it all, other than the wither rose, which definitely could fit in here, because this is the Pale Garden that has all of the Pale Garden stuff, plus, oh yeah, the dead coral as well. Is that technically a plant now? If it's dead, I can start having people tell me it's an animal. I get comments like that every now and again, where it's just like an overwhelmingly amount of the same thing again and again. And it's like, I really should have mentioned that in the video. Good for engagement, I guess. So yeah, that is that side done. And then over on the other side, make our way around the maze. We have the jungle oasis. So this is the jungle biome and the desert in one. So all of the desert stuff you would find and all of the jungle stuff you would find. A very pretty room, nice and bright and colourful. And then on through this way, we have the aquatic zone. So this is where we've got our mangrove tree and all the water stuff with our animal coral, okay? Our kelp, sea pickles, sugarcane, lily pads, everything that is sort of water adjacent is in this one. And then the final room is the fungal forest, which is all of the fungi, so the mushrooms, and I also added in the, oh goodness, I forgot what this is called, chorus fruit, chorus plant in this one as well, because I didn't want to do a separate room just as the end. So I think it fits pretty well with the mushroom theme of this room. But yeah, that is the botanical garden. A really, really cool project to work on. I love stuff like this that kind of like has a purpose, but it's not actually really like beneficial. It doesn't have a farm or anything like that. But you know, there's a reason to do it. It's like a museum. I want to do more stuff like that in the future for sure. So the only other build we have before we can start making our way across that bridge over there is, it is connected on a pathway, but it's going to be a long walk because it's way over here. You can see it off in the distance. It is my cat tree tower. It's my big like bonsai tree inspired tree. I know it's not a bonsai tree because bonsai trees are small, but it's like shaped like the stereotypical bonsai tree with a bunch of platforms hanging or placed alongside where I've got every single cat variant. I won't show you them all, you'll have to take my word for it. Again, a more recent addition, so no need to spend too much time here. And then all of their bowls and water at the bottom. This is just a decorated pot with a moss carpet on. Pretty cool, right? But yeah, that, I think, is everything. Unless I'm forgetting something, but it's nothing major if I have, because I'm pretty sure I've got every single building. Yes. I think the only thing I maybe will show you quickly, we're not going to ride this rail because the minecart's being weird and that won't be an enjoyable watch. But this is the beginnings of our minecart rail, which just stretches all the way to spawn. There's nothing too exciting that happens along this rail. It's basically just more the same. It goes through the terrain and it crosses over the pathway that we'll take at some point. So yeah, won't show you that in full. You can go back and watch the episode if you really want to. There won't be a laggy minecart, that's for sure. But yeah, let's, I guess, make our way to spawn and cross over quite a few more builds on the way. This build right here is one of my favourites across the entire world of mine. It is my bridge village, which is very aptly named Bridgerton. Now, I'm not going to take you in every single one of these houses. They are all furnished, but most of them, it's very simple. There's not a lot going on inside, so it's probably not worth the time because there are quite a lot of buildings. But it is a fully functioning village. We've got iron golems spawning, cats occasionally here, proper villagers with their own workstations doing their jobs every day. They've got a meeting point right here in the middle, and it all takes place on a bridge. There, it's all lit up totally, so no zombies can get in or out of the entrances or anything like that. It is a really cool concept, and I am... Okay. Strange. I am very happy with how it has all come together. Using all of these different blocks, I thought might have been like chaos, honestly, when I was designing this thing, but I think it actually works pretty well. Probably because we have the base blocks of the oak logs for the pillars, and then the spruce roof outline, and then you kind of change everything else. But I just love walking down here, seeing all of the villagers go back and forth, the iron golems patrolling, and then we got like some of these like alleyways and little offshoots in between the houses where the villagers like to go, and a couple of them... You guys are stuck, aren't you? Are you stuck? I know you're not stuck. I can get in there. Okay, they're a little bit peculiar, but every now and again we got something like this where it leads to a fence gate that you can actually go out to and stand on the bridge. We've got a few of them down there, and yeah, it's a really fun concept, and I'm just quite happy with how the finished result came together. And it's one of those that, because of the way I've placed this in my world, it is a pretty big focal point, so you kind of like, you know, if you're coming from this way, it's one of the main things you see, because it's very hard to miss. But yeah, this is, if I had to pick a favorite build, this would be up there. I don't know if it would be my single favorite, but it would definitely be one of top 3 for sure. So that is Bridgerton, and marks the start of the long pathway that reaches from my base over to spawn. It's like a 30-minute walk, so as we do this, I'll either speed up or skip the bits in between, because kind of once we get past this island, it's only very small builds every now and again. But we will just cross over and check out what is Armadillo Island. Oh, I fell off the path. Oopsie, let's make our way back. So we can cross over this bridge and come to Armadillo Island, which is aptly named because there is 2 armadillos patrolling it. But it's not really the main part of this island. It is actually that castle up at the top, which we'll just skip the pathway because it's more of the same. And this right here is my dog castle. Again, another build all focused around a certain mob. I just can't help myself. But yes, this is my castle filled with every single one of the dog variants. All... can't remember how many there are now. I want to say 13, but that sounds wrong. I'm not sure. I've got them all sort of dotted around this castle here, and I had a really good time. I love designing castles. I think they're so fun to do, and I don't do it often enough. For how classic of a like build a castle is in Minecraft, I feel like everyone's done one. I never really had until I made this. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, but we got all of these like interconnecting rooms, and it just feels very immersive to walk around, I would say. I think there's actually, yep. Oh, there's too many composters posing as toilets in this world. I'm sorry. But yeah, they're all dotted around, some of them standing guard, some of them just chilling inside. This one here is reading a book in the library. They're all thoroughly enjoying themselves. There is one room, I think I've missed it, where we have one dog right at the top of the castle. The princess, we shall call her. How do I get there? I can't remember. She's up in this top room here. Oh yeah, this staircase. There we go. Yeah, we have our final dog, the rare one that you find in like the icy biomes. She's up here just chilling in her own bedroom. Oh, with another painting. Okay. Yeah, that does make an appearance from time to time because I spent so long on it. Yeah, this is our dog castle on Armadillo Island. And I have just thought... there is actually another way to get to spawn. We have this walkway that we're going to do. We also have the rail line that we're going to skip out on. This one over here? Somewhere we have an ice boat road that goes all the way back to spawn in a different way. So maybe we'll come back that direction? Yeah, tell you what, we'll come back that direction, but it ends up right here. So we'll return to that in a little bit. For right now, we're going to go to bed and then continue our walk. The long walk all the way back to spawn. The real marker of the beginning of this walk back to spawn is really this bridge, because from this point on was kind of the first thing that we built in the episode where we were doing this project. The castle and everything was here beforehand for the most part. So yeah, we cross over this bridge, which is a pretty cool bridge, I gotta say, one of my favorites in the world. I do love building a bridge, and I try to make them all a little bit different from each other. This one feels very rickety and rope bridge-esque. But yeah, we'll walk this path for a little bit, and then we'll start fast forwarding some stuff, so you can still see the entire pathway, but not in full speed or regular speed, because yeah, it takes a while. If you are interested, there is a 20-minute video on my channel, just of like a cinematic walk along, if you really want to see every little bit. But most of the stuff is just small things like that, like a little well, for instance. And then sometimes we'll get to a structure like up here, which is the ruined nether portal that I've got near my base. So we kind of take the pathway up through there, and you cut through. So it's a little bit of integrating the natural terrain in with some of my builds, and also making some stuff alongside them, so the actual walk is a little bit more interesting. But eventually we will start skipping some bits soon, but there we are. I knew there was a build coming up. So like over here, we've got this small hut in the forest that has some bees outside. I don't actually remember bringing bees over here. I must have done, because I definitely didn't do that, and there's quite a lot around here, so I must have just wiped that from my memory. But yeah, we just got a nice little house. This is actually the stripped texture, I guess you would call it. If you place a mushroom block on a mushroom block, then break the other mushroom block, you get this texture. I feel like not many people know about that. It's a little bit different. Could be used as some wallpaper. Yeah. Okay, let's fast forward to the next one, which is the jungle village and pirate area. So this is a build that was actually here before we did this pathway, but it was kind of en route, so I felt like I had to bring it through here. But as you can see, it is an entire village themed with a pirate background, I guess you would call it. It's just a jungle village with a pirate ship, pretty much, and the odd pirate banner. But all of the houses are, of course, furnished. Just... what is this? Oh, that's a trapdoor. Okay, I've just got a different texture on my moss. That's fine. I thought something very weird was happening then. But yeah, we won't go in all these buildings because they are pretty basic, but it's just sort of a general village. There's only 1 or 2 villagers here. I can't remember why you guys are here. I think I was potentially gonna put some villagers in here, and I moved these 2 over to breed some up. And then I never did, and I think I just kind of let these guys roam free. So there's 2 villagers in the village, which I guess is technically enough to make it a village. And some poor guy over here who's trapped in a cage. There was a whole little bit of backstory to this place. I can't really remember exactly what it was. I think it was to do with this ship crashed into the island, as you can see, nicely impaled by that rock. Not sure how that's happened, but it has. And then they set up on the beach here with the little camp and everything, and slowly expanded out into the rest of the village. And over the course of time, let's do a quick zip across, they started work on building a much larger ship and were able to set sail, or about to set sail, I guess, off into the ocean and continue on their voyage. But yeah, this is a cool little pirate ship. We got some cannons, some cannonballs. That, I think, is blackstone. Yeah, polished blackstone with some skulk on top. It's close enough. It looks like a barrel of cannonballs, potentially. Got crow's nest up the top. All normal ship-related stuff. I thought there was a pillager prisoned here, but I guess he's gone? I thought it was there. Hang on a second. I swear that was a thing. Any of you who remember that episode, you're going to have to remind me if you also remember that, or if that was just a dream. I swear we got a pillager and put him in there. Maybe I'm wrong, because that's what that's meant to be. It's like the prison sort of thing. Yes, this is the ship, and then I think that's basically everything. Like I said, most of this is really just houses. Pretty basic houses, little jungle huts. And yeah, the pathway goes right through it. Okay, there is obviously this as well, which we'll check out. This is not a naturally generating island. I believe there was possibly the beginnings of an island here, but only a very small one. So, like, every single one of these sand blocks that you're seeing, they're all placed by hand. Like, there's dirt underneath them. So I basically built an entire island that stretches all the way to the seafloor. Which is why it's a pretty small island, because, like, it's actually triple the size of what's above the water. We've got lots of turtles here, and of course a smoking volcano, which is all pretty cool. I do really like this. It's a nice addition to our village in the background. But yeah, let's hop back over and continue on to the next thing, which is actually just up here. So we'll do a little hop, skip, and a jump, and fast forward. Actually, we don't need to fast forward yet because we are right here. And it is, again, another very, very small build. Just a little campsite set up with some food cooking over here, or maybe some soup, or boiling some water with some like rolls, bed rolls instead of actual beds. That is one thing. I sometimes think what I would add to Minecraft if I could, and the number one thing that I would like is a bedroll, not a bed, because, you know what, let's walk and talk. Because beds are, you know, great for setting your spawn and everything, but the second you break it, your spawn's no longer set. I'd love to have a bedroll that you could sleep through the night, but it didn't erase your spawn point. So say you had a bedroll here instead of a bed, and if you clicked on it, it wouldn't like do your spawn point, because now if I just slept through the night, that I'm gonna spawn back at spawn. It's something I'd love to see, because it really annoys me when I go to the end or whatever, or die, and then I don't come back to my original spawn point. I go all the way back here. Thankfully, it's all pretty connected, so it's not that bad. But yeah, I'd love to see a bedroll, and would make a nice decoration. Anyway, this is a giant tree. Doesn't need much more explanation than that. I'm sort of happy with the finished outcome. I've definitely made nicer trees in the past, or post, I should say. Like my cat tree is a lot nicer than this one. This one's very, very square. Trees are something I'm in an everlasting battle with, I think, that I'm always struggling with, but always also trying to improve. But just a little campfire beside our giant tree. And I think it's just over this hill. You can actually see the rail line. Remember I said about the rail line intersects with the pathway? That is part of it. It's still stretching along. That's just a very straight line, obviously, so that's still going in that direction for now, all the way from when it started. But here's the next little thing. Super simple, just a bamboo pathway going through this cool little bit of terrain. And then here is the next build. Again, a very small little thing, just kind of like the entrance to the jungle as we transition from the biomes. Now we're in the jungle where we've got the next build just tucked up round the corner here. Another small hut. I think this was meant to be like a melon farmer, if I remember right. So only a tiny little build that they've got as their home. Small campfire outside. Of course, another composted toilet. Oh, this one's not full up. Okay, that's less gross. Good job, me. And then, of course, some melons for them to farm. And a big old scarecrow. Now, we won't fast forward just yet because I'm fairly certain we've got another teeny tiny little build. This whole pathway is full of like small details. Some really big builds like the giant tree, and some tiny little ones like this. There was just a small cave opening here, and I thought, let me chuck a campfire and a couple of seats in there. Sort of adds that little bit of mystery and lore. I do quite like doing that. Off in the distance, we can see the pirate village and the volcano, which always makes a really cool sight. But then we come to our cobblestone bridge, which just stretches over this river here. It's got a bit of a gradient from super mossy either side to less mossy in the middle. A couple of pumpkins, which I definitely didn't place myself. They were just naturally generating. And then we come to the lighthouse, which is probably about the halfway point, timed perfectly. So I'm actually going to head inside of this thing and find a bed and go to sleep. Because I don't want to do the rest of this pathway during the night time. So yeah, let's head in here and hope I've put a bed at the top. I think I did. No, I didn't. Okay, that's fine. I brought my own. I'll go to sleep on the staircase. It's actually another fun detail just outside of this lighthouse. Sandcastle. 4 sandstone walls. That's all you need. You can make yourself a little sandcastle. So yes, that is the lighthouse, and then we can just do another hop, skip, and a jump and come to another bridge in this world. This one takes us away from the jungle biome over to the sort of foresty plains area, and then eventually we do get to the mesa, I think is next. But yes, this is our nice diagonal bridge taking us all the way over from one side to the other, where we can start making our way further away from base to spawn. Another very simple little build. This is kind of like a well with a pump. Sort of as though there's like a water reservoir underground and you can pump the water into the little pot. And this is hungry work. And the next build is just on up this way. Another small homestead. Can't remember if this one has any significance or it's just a cute yellow house. Have a feeling it might be the latter of the two. I don't think it's really got a theme other than being yellow. But we'll go have a look, just in case. Let's see, is there anything in here? Nope, there's barely room for anything at all. Okay, it is just a little yellow house. Cute, okay, cool. Coming up to the next build now, we can once again see the rail line in the distance going over the ocean. You can also see the mesa biome where we've got some stuff built, but this right here is a small mining quarry. It was a lot of fun, I gotta say, working on this project, just coming up with like small ideas I could build as sort of points of interest, you know? Like obviously this wasn't here before, I just dug it all out and made it look as though stuff is being quarried, storage on the side. It's all pretty simple, like each build isn't really that revolutionary, but together, collectively, as one big project, I think it actually works really well. Building the actual pathway was fun, of course. As you can see, most of the time it's just actual path block. That wasn't too bad, but then sometimes we get to like stone, or we'll get to the mesa here in a second, and that meant a little bit more work because I couldn't just, you know, slap my shovel on the ground and do it instantaneously. I had to dig out the pathway and then gather some other blocks and use something else. So I think for the mesa, yeah, we did red sandstone, or red sand. Well, that's sandstone because that's slabs and stuff. Over here, we just got another little cozy campfire. This one with an actual tent set up and a donkey strapped up, ready to go. I'm sorry, buddy, you've just been here forever with no owner. I don't think he minds. Yeah, we start making our way into the mesa now. And eventually get to my very small Wild West themed area. This is not the pathway, or the railway. Or is it? No, it isn't. Okay, so this is the railway that we built before building the rideable railway. It's a little bit confusing, but this was here as like, again, a point of interest for the pathway. So we've got a small saloon out the front here, and then this is like just a railway with a cart going back and forth. But I did something cool with some fence gates to make it sound. Give it a second. Where is it? There it is. To make it sound like the cart is actually going along and chugging on some tracks and you know, clacking over all of them. Nice bit of sound design. Always fun to mess around with that in Minecraft. Yeah, tiny little saloon. And this is definitely an area I'd like to do some more work on. Make like a proper Wild West area and really build this up. It's just, I've had lacking inspiration and motivation to work here, but maybe someday we'll come back and do some stuff. But yes, this is the rail line that is meant to be lined up. Let's actually just take a little break from the pathway, save that zombie coming to get me. So this is the rail line that we ride, and it's lined up so it looks as though it kind of continues on that way and goes through the actual Wild West area, but really it actually goes underground through a tunnel. So a little bit of like false perspective there sort of thing. Theme park magic almost, that kind of idea. Yes, then we can continue the pathway up over here, and this I believe takes a bit of a detour, yeah, through the abandoned mine shaft. So the pathway sort of stops here, and then you're sort of trusted to follow the abandoned mine shaft. I've blocked everything up that could possibly take you off course, so like some of these walls, maybe I'll get lucky. No, Some of these walls lead off into other directions, but I've hollowed everything out and covered everything up so that you can only go one way, and eventually when you get to the end, you just pop out the other side and you're back on the pathway, just like that, where we're led to another entrance. You can see the rail line a bit better here this side. That's where it comes up from the ground. That leads us into the Stony Beach, I guess you would call this biome. Yeah, the Stony Beach. Then we can go under the rail line here, which is always a fun thing to do. Just go under and over something, have your build sort of intertwined. But eventually we can follow the gravel pathway down to some parkour. Yay! Let's see if I can do this. I don't think it's really hard parkour. It's sort of just like some stepping stones going across the water. Again, just another thing to make the pathway a bit more interesting. I could have used some bridges, or honestly I could have like skipped these like islands entirely and just stayed on the mainland, but I thought it would be cool to take the pathway over this way. And we even have a boat, a little pirate ship, as a middle part of these stepping stones. It's not the smoothest run in the world. It's because there's so many slabs and stairs, I'm sort of going up and down all the time. But yeah, there's the stepping stones over to the other side. Oh, two more. So now we're off the gravel pathway and off the sandstone pathway, back onto regular old grass for a little bit, where we come to this tower right here, which is on such a cool piece of terrain. I just think this is like an awesome cliff. It looks amazing. I think it really helps being the mesa biome. Oh, Armadillo, you are stuck, my dear boy. Let me help you. Let me help you out. There you go. You gonna be able to get out of that? Oh, give me a second. There you go. You're welcome. Take those blocks back. So yeah, just a little tower on the tippity top of this cliff. I've also got a shulker box here. Blended in a bit too well with the surroundings. I left that behind. It's alright, I'll take that home with me. So just a tower going up to the waypoint, and we'll actually, or viewing point, sorry, and we'll be able to get a nice view of spawn. There it is. We've basically made it. We just got a little bit left to go, and then we can probably go check out, other than my base, probably my second favorite area in this world. Mostly because I've done more than like one or two builds here. These are made up of like a multitude of things. And it's, you know, significant. It's the spawn point of my world. It, I think, should be a nice place. But the last detail we go by is just a small stack of logs piled up here next to the jungle biome. And then we can make our way into it. And, oh no, I lied. There's one little bridge left to cross, just going over here. But once we go across this, we make our way into the jungle and are practically all the way home to spawn. Now, obviously, when we spawned into this world, it didn't look like this here. It was just a stony beach on the shore with the jungle behind, which kind of is the same. It hasn't changed all that much. It's just a lot more mossy. And there's three major additions: the Ocean Monument, the Spawn Monument, Spawnument, as people have coined it, and the Treetop Village. So we'll take a look at all of these. I guess we'll start with the Spawn Monument. So we got these pillars kind of circling around it. Some sort of magical power source or something. Some conduits for it. I didn't give much lore on this, I don't believe. I just wanted a cool building to mark my spawn location, which is basically exactly where the tower is. And what is that? Oh, it's a moss block. Should that be moss? That shouldn't really be moss. You know what, let's fix that right now, otherwise I probably never will. We'll snag this block, and we'll do a switcheroo. I don't even know if there's stone in this part of the build, but there is now. There we go. So yeah, I wanted something just to mark spawn, something big, something impressive, something significant, and that is exactly what this is. So here we have the entrance to it, and there isn't really anything inside of the monument, purely because I didn't know what to put in here, really. We have this weird room at the bottom. I needed something to go next to the bubble waiter, so I've just got a bunch of heads. I'm still, open to ideas on what else I could put here, because I don't really know any good ideas of what I could replace it with, but I'm sure there's something. So we can take the 360-degree bubble column all the way to the top, totally skip all of the inside, and we are up the top of the spawn monument, where we can see our railway, we can see the tower over there, the treetop village. Over this side we can see the monument and our iceboat road, which we'll take shortly. But yeah, to get back down, we simply just fall through. And whenever I do spawn in here at spawn, it's usually at the top there. Because spawn is right in this location, it usually just sticks me way up the top, which sometimes good, sometimes not. But let's have a snack and venture off into the jungle and have a look at the treetop village, which is actually populated with villagers, or at least it was last time I was here. It's been a while, so hopefully they're okay. They should be, because obviously I haven't been here, so they shouldn't have died or anything. We do also have this thing, which is the end of the station building, which, yeah, there you go. That's all it is. Just an endpoint rather than the rail coming to a complete standstill. But let's climb the vines and take a look around. So most of the village here is sort of the same. Every build is a little bit different. Every treetop house, or tree house. Hang on, how do I... Oh, there we go. I thought I was trapped. Every one of these is a little bit different. I'm getting a bit worried that I can't see any villagers. Hopefully they're just in their homes. Fingers crossed. They're all slightly varied, and some of them are themed to the profession of the villager living inside of it. That's what this is. There are, what is it, 13 professions, or however many there are. So, oh, I see movement over there. However many villagers types there are, that's how many houses there are. Plus this one in the middle, which is kind of like the town hall, quote unquote. We won't go in all of them because they are very samey, but we'll take a gander at a few. Like this one here, which is the librarian, I'm guessing. There he is. Yeah, they're all just sitting at their workstation. That's why you can't see any of them. But occasionally, like when it's time for their nightly chats or discussions, whatever they like to do, they do head back to the center where we have the bell, which is kind of cool. Got the stone cutter, or sorry, the mason. Over here I think is the fisherman, possibly, or the farmer. Nope, this is the farmer. He has to precariously farm these crops. He does, because as you can see, he's tending to them. It's just a bit risky, because that is quite the drop. But he doesn't mind. I think I also, yeah, I waterlog the leaves in the corner there to get the soil to stay hydrated. Pretty clever, I thought. Let's go in like another couple of random ones. What would be a good one? Let's go over here. What have we got? This is Stonecutter by the sound of it. Oh, I keep calling them all Stonecutters. Weaponsmith with the grindstone. Are you trapped? I bet you're trapped. I'm not helping you. You got yourself in that corner. You can get yourself out. And the Fletcher over here. So yeah, you kind of get the idea. We got all of these bridges connecting all of the different villager houses. A cool, I think, concept for a village. Something a little bit different to the norm, and they all traverse it pretty well. I purposefully didn't really use many trapdoors in this design, like for the railway or whatever, or railing, because you know what mobs are like, and trapdoors doesn't... Or scaffolding, apparently. Oh, you silly guys. Yeah, you know what they're like for pathfinding, so trapdoors stayed far away. Oh, here we are. They're having a little discussion by the bell. The librarian and the toolsmith. But yeah, that is our treetop bamboo village. Just having to nab a bit of jungle wood from the jungle to craft a boat so we can actually use our iceboat road. Otherwise, it's going to take a little while running all the way across. Zombie, I can hear you. Leave me be. I'm trying to do a tour. Thank you. Actually, no, I'm not going to need the boat or that. Let's do a little bit of littering in the jungle before leaving. Like the good Samaritan I am. And yeah, we'll go take a look at the iceboat road with an immediate stop at the ocean monument. So that over there is my Guardian farm. It has a functional, prismarine farm underground, or under the water I should say, and works great, but it looked a little bit boring, so I raised, even though it's totally different from the ocean monument that's under the water, but I raised the ocean monument up from out of the water and built this instead, which, yeah, I think is a pretty cool building. Definitely fitting of the ocean, look. We got basically only prismarine, I think, in here. All of the items that I can farm from my farm is what it's made up of, other than glass, I guess. But yeah, pretty cool build. And this is where my prismarine farm is, so all of the drops go in here, come up from down below. It is very, very helpful for no other reason than I can get dark prismarine. I even get ink sacs. Oh, I must have recently ransacked the chest. Ink sacs. That's like the main purpose of this farm. I don't use the other stuff with it often, but dark prismarine I do like quite a bit. Just going up to the top here, because if I remember right, yes, there's a button on a diamond block. Oh, fancy. If I press that, we actually turn off the water. And why I would want to do that, I don't know. It just adds a bit of interactivity into the build, I'd say. It's a little bit cooler when you turn it on and the water flows instead of the other way around. So yeah, just a fun little thing that I managed to fit in up the top here. But let's pop down to here, and we should actually be safe for the most part going along here, so we'll do a little bit of a tour at night time. If we come across any problems, we'll stop, but as you can see, it's nicely illuminated. And I think the first thing we can stop at is right here. There we go. So this is a similar sort of thing as our pathway. It's just sort of points of interest. There's nothing actually helpful or useful along here. It's just cool stuff to look at. So this, for instance, down here is like these underwater pods almost, and I created like a bit of a doomsday double switch. So we got the same on both sides, and pretend there's sort of something in the water. I can't remember exactly what I said it was, but yeah, just cool 2 underwater pods. But on to the next thing, which is 2 things we could look at here actually. So we'll stop the boat right about now. There we go. Stay there. We got, oh, it's actually perfect we're doing this at nighttime, because you can see the jellyfish so much better. Look at them go. All sorts of colors, bright and vibrant, very, very pretty. And yeah, I guess while we're here actually, you can see we've got 2 giant tentacles sticking out of the water. Not the best thing I've ever made for sure. They are needing some improvement, I would say. Natural sort of shapes are not my forte, but you can tell what they're meant to be, I would say. I'm just debating whether to go over to that island, which is a man-made island, or save it till later. We'll go over to it. We'll go over to it. Why not? Oh wait, it's nighttime. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. A little teaser for later. We got a bunch of stuff linked up in the Nether, so after we're done here, we'll probably head to our Nether hub and start going to some of the stuff over there. But here's a little lighthouse. Not too much to it. Just a small dock outside and bed down the bottom, and a lighthouse or light bulb, whatever you call this thing, at the top. Nice and bright. Very pretty next to our iceboat road. Let's hop back over. Is there anything else, or is that sort of it? I think that might be it now. Possibly. Obviously, we still have this whole way along here, but there's actually not that much of interest. No, okay, that was all of the interesting stuff along the ocean there, just sort of leading up to the ocean monument. Basically just another way to get from spawn to my base. In case I don't want to fly, take the Nether, walk, or take the minecart, I can take the iceboat road. So this, like I said, doesn't actually have anything to look at. It's just a quick way to zip along the world, which is actually pretty far, but we'll take you with me because we should be fine, and you can see how quick we can get around. Oh no. Oh no. Please go. Come on, out the way, because there was a creeper over there. And I can't be dealing with that. I didn't think they could spawn on ice. I will have to be careful. Maybe we'll slow down a little bit. So we carve out some tunnels here. Not the prettiest things in the world, I know. I spent a long time doing the iceboat road, the longer one. Once I got to this point, I'd given up all hope. I just wanted to connect the base up and be done with it, really. But there we go. Now we're back here at Armadillo Island and the base. So that right there was spawn. And now I think we have covered everything that can be accessed on some kind of pathway, meaning the rest of the builds are going to require us to go into the nether. So I have set up a nether hub in my world on the roof of the nether, just because that's easiest, safest, and why not? I'm perfectly fine with being on the roof of the nether, and it means I can make some nice, simple, easy pathways without the worry of mobs, as long as I spawn-proof all of my builds. But this is the actual nether hub itself. It's like this Greek-inspired temple. Just wanted something bright and white, and basically something that would stand out in the nether, because it is pretty dark around here. So the way this works is I have two directions to go in. What is that? Where's my north and south and west and east? That's a weird order to do. And north and south. So south has all of these builds that I can go to, and then north has all of these builds, and they're in order. So, you know, if the first one that comes up is the pirate village, we've already done that one. Great, tick that off the list. But let's do this side first, because there's actually quite a lot we've already seen here. So we'll save that side for after. For right now, we are going to go to the flower farm. So I've got some soul soil or soul sand under here, so I go nice and quick on my boots. And I think occasionally, yeah, so I would go shoot off to this side, and sometimes the way the portal kind of links up, they have to share a line, otherwise it would just be too close to each other. So the first portal, Pirate Village, second portal, Flower Farm. So we are going to go straight through the first portal and into the second one whenever we do get there. Some of these are very far away, and I probably don't need full-blown pathways. I never actually run on them. I always just fly because it's quicker. But I think it just looks a bit more proper than doing like a line of torches, for example. You get the same effect at the end, or the same amount of help, just cleaner, you know? So yeah, let's go check out the flower farm. This might look a little bit familiar to something we've seen before, my flower fields back at the base. Unfortunately, I don't come here much very often, because the purpose of this entire area is for the flower farm. The thing is, I designed it myself, and we had one very large oversight. we'll check it out in a second. But the build itself is very, very pretty. We just got this nice overgrown, mossy stone brick cottage at the end, which I really like this build itself. I think it is super cozy looking. And then all of the fields of flowers. It's always nice, isn't it? We've got all of the 2 high flowers, of course. I think we do, right? Yeah, that's 4 fields. And then down at the bottom we have, I think, my allium field. I've got a different texture on to make them kind of look like lavender flowers a little bit. And oxeye daisies. But yeah, we got all of our fields, our old broken down cobblestone walls again. But let's go check out inside the cottage itself. The reason, by the way, I'll explain just in case you don't know how nether portals work. The reason we've gone through the nether to get here is because we are super far away from home here in a flower forest, and it's quicker in the nether. 8 times quicker, actually. So that's why a lot of these builds that we're going to check out now, we need the nether to access them, because they are so far away. But yes, this is my inside part of it, and you can see I've got all of the storage for the different types of flowers. You may notice some of them are a lot higher in quantity than the others. And let's go check out the farm and I can explain. So I did all of this basically before realizing. I'm pretty sure I built the cottage, built the flower fields, built everything else, and then came down here to the farm. So it works in a way that the ground gets bone milled, and then water flushes the flowers away. How do I actually turn this on? Is it this? Is it just a one flick and that's done? Yeah, there we go. So you can see it works like that, right? And then the water fades, bone meal gets grown. Okay, cool. And then all of the drops come here. Now, we can look at the drops and see that's not every type of flower. Not at all. We got loads of seeds, which not really helpful. We basically only get like 4 types of flowers from this farm, because flowers only generate like on a certain block. It doesn't change. So like that block right there is always going to be a white tulip. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing to find out after I went to all of the effort of doing everything else. Because yeah, we end up with a totally, or not totally useless, if I need white tulips or pink tulips or orange tulips or oxeye daisies, I'm good. I've got plenty. If I need any other flower though, it's not really the best. I should probably do a different version of this at some point in time, but for the meantime, I just go around and grab my flowers by hand. Usually I just hide my portals a little bit away from the build, or I try and incorporate them somehow, but this one, for example, is just tucked down here, hidden away, but I won't bring you back through, otherwise we're going to be going in and out of the nether constantly, and it's going to be a bit headache-inducing going interdimensional that much, so I will meet you at the next location, which is Sniffer Island. This is the island we saw going along the iceboat road that I said we'd return to later, and pretty self-explanatory name. This is my island where I have my sniffers. Now, they of course have their name tags, but one of them is Truffles. They were the original, and the other one, wherever they are, is Snuffles, who recently made an appearance into the world. Oh, thank you for the picture pod. Thank you. That is a rare occurrence. Let's just pop that in there. There we are. That should get... Oh, look at that. Right on time. So, yeah, I needed a bunch more picture pods of plants or whatever they dig up. Torchflower seeds, that's the other thing. So there's 2 of them now, and they live here happily on their island of absolute tranquility. They've got a few shelters. They've got some watering troughs dotted around. They've even got a couple of turtle friends called Scratch and Sniff. Again, I'm not sure who is who, but that is their turtle friends, and they all love each other. They are best friends. Keep Truffles company, and until Snuffle was here, he was the only one, but now there's more, so even better. I was a recent addition to the island was this thing over here, which is a small farm to get the stuff, so I'm not happy about it, but I think as far as farm goes, in Minecraft, it's a pretty ethical one. So I've got this lever here, and I would, in theory, lead one of these sniffers into this hole, and then let them dig around and pick up their flowers and whatnot. And then the seeds, as you saw when I chucked it in here, got automatically picked up, and then the stuff goes into the chest here. So I don't need like mass amounts of these sort of flowers. I just need them every now and again. And it feels wrong to entrap this mob in particular. I don't know what it is. I just feel sorry for it all of the time. They are so sweet, and yeah, I don't ever want to make like a farm where there's just hundreds of these trapped underground, because they're very cute. I do like them a lot. But yeah, this is Sniffer Island, and that's pretty much all there is to show. There's not a whole lot to this place other than the sniffers that live here. And Scratch and Sniff, of course. Welcome to the Pearl Garden and the location of this year's, or last year's, sorry, I've done it again, 2025's Halloween build, which is my haunted village. Now, this place is actually pretty dangerous now. There are a bunch of mobs that live here. I built this thing and then moved in some zombies, skeletons, witches, so I'll go carefully have a look at a couple of the builds, but the main thing is to see it from the outside. We're keeping with the very monotone colours that are in the Pearl Garden here. Trying to keep it nice and creepy, which I think I've done a pretty good job at, whilst also kind of keeping it similar to how the builds in like regular Minecraft villages look. So you can see that they all might seem like a little bit familiar. Like all of them are kind of a different variant of the bog standard Minecraft houses. So it's almost as if Mojang were to add a Pearl Garden village, maybe this is what it could look like. See if we can actually go down to somewhere that might be safe. You can see there's like a fence going around the entire thing, so the mobs are closed in. I just don't know where they are. There's a witch. Okay, there's proof. Okay, they're still here. I saw a zombie as well. Cool. Good to know they're still alive. I did receive a lot of comments of people telling me just because I put a helmet on them doesn't mean they're safe from daylight. It takes damage, so I won't spend too long here, otherwise they are going to die. But that's alright. If they die, they die. It's not the end of the world. The witches will remain, I think, anyway. But yeah, let's take a look at this building. This one's probably the biggest, and it's not much to it really. It's more so to do with the outside of the build. These are like the beds that I've done. It's just, what is that, droppers? Yeah, droppers with some moss carpet on. but basically just trying to make a village, but creepier, you know? I think it actually works pretty well. Where are the mobs? There's like a good 8 of them in here, I'm pretty sure. I don't know where they all are. I want to go take a look at them, because they are villagers, I think? Yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah, they're zombie villagers, of course. I remember it taking me absolutely ages to... Oh, and we got skeletons, okay. Yeah, I remember it taking me absolutely ages to find like 3 zombie villagers. I think that's all that's in here. So, yeah, there they are. Hello, my friend. I really don't want them to die because of how long it's actually taken me to get them. So I think that honestly might mark the end of this bit of the tour, and I'm being shot by a skeleton. So yeah, I'd say that's a good time to peace out. It feels very, very wrong to be here at this point in the year at my Christmas area, but it is part of the world, so I will show you regardless. We did do some work over here recently though, given the fact Christmas has just gone. So we won't spend a whole lot of time because you would have recently seen it. But this right here is one of the 3 Christmas builds we have. It's my snow globe with the log cabin inside that actually can be accessed. There's a bit of funkiness to it though, which you'll probably see. Yeah, there's a lot of iron bars. So when we built this thing, I had a Christmas texture pack on that basically made iron bars into Christmas lights. I don't have it anymore, so just imagine there's some nice, pretty, colourful lights. It'll look a lot better. But yeah, it's just a log cabin in like a winter wonderland in a snow globe. I thought it would have been cool actually if I had done sort of like falling snow, but I don't really know how that would have looked, so maybe for the best that I didn't. But let's go to the next build. I did also recently add a big pathway to connect all 3 of them. We're not going to walk it because it is actually quite a long one, but we'll follow the general direction. Obviously when we get to the ice we sort of just cut straight across because there's no real way to do a pathway on ice. But it goes through the forest and you can see the build in the distance just beyond the Tundra village, which is one of my favourite village types. I do really like this style of the houses. Makes me feel very cozy when I go in these buildings. But anyway, this isn't the build. Minecraft did this. Mine is that big white blob in the distance. This is my giant igloo, which is a very, very weird build. It is literally just like the roundest, smoothest object I think I've ever made in Minecraft because we're using all of the snow layers. It's strange but cool from the outside. The inside, a little bit nicer. Now, are we going to have some villagers here? We usually do. Nope, not today. They're being good. This is my Christmas area. We got 4 villagers living, working inside of here. Minecart going around the top. All very Christmassy. All feels very wrong to be here at this time of year. So take a good look because I'm ready to leave if you guys are. Also, shulker boxes as presents because these guys deserve the best. So let's leave and go to the most recent of all of the Christmas builds, which is over in this direction, right? Yep, pathway continues on over here. So this is what we did just a few weeks ago. Will probably feel very familiar to a lot of you, but there it is in the distance. A nice snowy winter cabin set amongst all of the trees, getting some pretty bad frame rate. I think I've just been playing Minecraft for too long, walking around my world for hours at this point. I've cut out quite a bit that you guys haven't seen, obviously, going back and forth, but yeah, this is the snowy cabin. We got some snow layers on the roof where it's fallen and set, some Christmas trees just outside with candles as decorations, some Christmas lights using the different colour lanterns, all very cute and cozy stuff. And if we go inside, after looking at the Merry Christmas sign, we have the worst sounding dog in the entire world. Can I hear a bark? Give him a sec. There it is. That actually wasn't too bad of a sound. He's got the alien personality or whatever it is, and it sounds truly terrible. Yeah. So he stays here. I'll see you next year, buddy. So now we come to my trail ruin, somewhere very, very, very far away from the base, because I remember searching for a long time to discover this. They aren't the easiest to come across, I'll be honest. But this is my trail ruin that I fully excavated and sort of made like a bit of a tour around here. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It was a really fun episode, and it's an episode that I hold pretty dear to my heart. In a way that makes it sound a bit more sincere than what it actually was. Maybe not dear to my heart, but I'm really glad I did this episode because it was the first episode that I did in kind of the style of video that I do more nowadays. And yeah, I'm glad I took the plunge to start doing them that way and changing up my style, because it has tremendously helped not only my channel grow, but also just me have more fun making videos. I thoroughly enjoyed the way that I do them nowadays, and this was the very first one I did in that kind of style. So yeah, pretty important one. But this, in case you're wondering, is an excavated trail ruin. This is what one looks like. Had to obviously be very careful when digging out this thing not to break anything, which I think I did pretty well, but we have literally dug like every single block out in its entirety. So everything is on display here. And yeah, again, another one of those things, a little bit like the Armistan Museum or the Botanical Garden, something that's, you know, already in Minecraft and you're just building something around it to showcase something. Yeah, I like doing that. What is this? I can't remember. Oh, is this the loot? Ah, that's cool. I totally forgot I did this. This is like all of the loot that I would have got from the trail ruin. So all of the stuff that I found in the chests and, the suspicious gravel and sand is in here. Oh, that's actually pretty neat. What's in this side? Oh, this is how many blocks I dug out to surround it. Oh my goodness, I've got shulker box on shulker boxes. Just sitting here, doing nothing. I ran out the other day, I could have just grabbed these. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so this is all of the blocks that I dug out in order to, you know, excavate this thing. Oh, neat. Totally forgot I did that. It was quite a while ago, in all fairness. But yeah, that is my excavated trail ruin. We got a little guy at the stand here asking for 8 emeralds for a little tour. Not too bad, I don't think. And then just beside it, we had a ruin portal. So I thought I'd make like a little bit of an add-on to the tour over here and encase this in the fence design that I've done and kind of like make it all one whole thing. So yeah, that is my trail ruin. Now time to fly a far way home. Even going through the nether, it takes a while to get back. Now we have arrived at my Firewatch Tower, which is actually only a stone's throw away from my base. We're just in the local Mega Taiga biome, and we'll take a look at the top in a minute. You might actually be able to see parts of the base, depending on if my render distance is high enough. I'm not sure, but just beside it at the bottom here we have a little camp, tent, usual stuff, a ledger. Yes, that is another outhouse, but this time no composter. That's actually where I've hidden my nether portal, so go me. But yeah, we just have sort of building supplies that we used while we were making the Firewatch Tower itself. So let's go and take a look. It is primarily built out of spruce, and yes, I know, maybe not the smartest thing to build a Firewatch Tower out of wood, but it looks good, okay? And I don't have fire tick on my world, so it doesn't matter. But eventually we jump up to the top after hopping every single one of these stairs. Could have made these actual stair blocks, but I like the look of the slabs. I think it looks pretty good. But we get to the top and we can open up the trap doors. And we are greeted by a lovely little room, which just feels super cozy and very what you would imagine in a Firewatch Tower. I always see videos of people sort of spending their season up there, and they always look like really cozy little places to stay. Maybe a little bit lonely at times, but I'm lonely in this world anyway. It's a single player world, so I'm used to it. It's fine. But we got 360-degree views. The base is just off in that direction. That actually, give me a second, is the windmill. You can just about make it out. Kind of. Maybe you can't because you don't know specifically what it looks like, but I've seen that windmill enough times to know that is in fact the windmill. But yeah, this is our Firewatch Tower to keep lookouts for any fires approaching. But again, not that it would matter because I don't have fire tick on, so another totally pointless build. not really. It's a cool addition, and I hope eventually, you know, we'll build so much in the base that we will continue to expand further and further and further out, that one day maybe this Firewatch Tower will actually be connected to the base. But that is quite a ways off, because yeah, it's like a good maybe few hundred blocks, probably near 1,000 honestly, from like the mountain to this place. But maybe one day we'll get here, who knows. Okay, I'm not gonna lie guys, I've been talking for so long, I think I'm starting to lose my voice. But we'll be a trooper, we'll push through it, and I'll show you my Mesa village, which is full of these colourful Adobe style coloured terracotta houses. I think there's one of every single colour. Trying to look for repeats and I can't see any, so I think that is a fact. There's every single dyed terracotta coloured house, all sort of stacked on top of each other, but I've done it in a way so that you can't actually access every single doorway. So if we just go up and start just climbing over stuff, you'll see we can actually enter every single house. Where does this go? Oh, back at another door. See, it's all kind of like interconnected, and everything has its own little way inside, and there's passageways, and all these builds, of course, are furnished. I like to make sure anything I make in this world, it's got an interior, even if it is just pretty basic. I feel like it makes for a nice thing when you're looking around and you open a door and there's actually stuff behind it, as opposed to just an empty room. But yeah, there isn't honestly a whole lot to show here. This is the smallest village I think I've ever made. No actual villagers working here, unfortunately. I don't think they would have been able to traverse the ladders, and the amount of trapdoors that are everywhere would have been a bit much for them, but does result in a pretty cool look. And we've even got a nice little dock down here on the water. We've now come to a build that I probably could have showcased earlier on in the video when we were actually taking a look around the base, because it is even closer to home than the Firewatch Tower is, as you can see from those builds over there. We are super duper close. We will probably expand to this one before we end up getting to the Firewatch Tower, but this is kind of like my home away from home. One episode I just kind of dedicated some time to come over here and make a quick little homestead away from everything, and kind of take things back to basics. Got some farming stuff over here, a couple of bees buzzing around, sharing the flower. Have I not got any other flowers for you guys? Come on, there's plenty others. You will really want that one specific rose. Fair enough. But yeah, we got some cool custom trees. This is a horse stable, I think. Piston door. I wasn't sure. But yeah, piston door with two horses inside of here. And it just kind of brought me back to as though I was sort of starting the world. I did bring all my resources and tools and everything with me, but I just made this because I wanted to make it. There was no real rhyme or reason as to what any of it was. It wasn't part of my base. It was something totally separate. And as you can probably tell from looking around it, a lot of the builds, in particular the house, it is very B-dubs inspired, which is always resulting in a good build if you can do it right, which honestly I don't think I've done a bad job at. Usually I find replicating B-dubs' style very difficult because I'm colorblind, so picking blocks, it just doesn't really work in my head like it does in some other people's, and it's a very hard style to replicate anyway. But this one I, whoopsie, have done an okay job at. Oh, and that's also reminded me, we got some custom cliff terraforming down here. Obviously this isn't quite natural terrain, but it's similar. That's what I like to do in my world a lot, instead of doing the really fine details when it comes to custom terrain with loads of different blocks and slabs and stairs. I like to just sort of keep to what would usually be there, but shape it so it looks a little bit nicer. So it kind of looks as though it could have generated normally like that, just, you know, without the ugly parts that sometimes like to appear in Minecraft's terrain. We will take a quick look inside of here. It is pretty much what you'd expect, just a nice little home. And these bees and scaffolding and trapdoors, it's not a good combo. They get stuck here all the time. I would free them, but they will be back in about 5 minutes. I think when it gets to nighttime, they might unfree themselves, but It's day right now, and they like to spend their day just hammering their head into a wall, which I won't stop them. If that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. Believe it or not, this portal is actually my portal that takes me to my end portal, the stronghold in this world. Now, I've got out here because when I was decorating my stronghold to make my end portal room a lot more interesting, I thought I'd do something a bit different and make a parkour course to actually access it. Now, there is an easy way just to go straight to the end portal. You just fly up and dive down that hole and you go straight there. But sometimes if I'm not in a rush, I like to take the parkour course. We're not going to do all of it because it some parts take... Oh, and I suck. That's partially the reason. Some parts take a lot longer than others, but we'll skip over some of it. I think there's even fireworks. Yep, look at that. Celebratory checkpoint. We got like a dilapidated bridge that we can jump across, and I'll tell you what, we're going to skip this one because that's just a really annoying ladder parkour that I'll probably not do very good at, and I will spend a good 5 minutes going up and down this tree. But we will do the slime block jumps because they're a little bit more fun and easy, as I probably fall to my death, but I'll do my best. Very satisfying. The point is you don't really jump, you just kind of like bounce on the slime and then it takes you to where you need to go. Where's next? Oh, last one over here. I've messed that up. Really messed that up. The next one's like floating islands. Wow, I stink. I didn't want to make it too easy for myself, but in hindsight, if this is how I get to my nether portal, or my end portal, sorry, I should have made it a little bit easier. Okay, yeah, not happening. I'm going to have to just cheat my way up and use my Elytra. But the final jump, we're not even halfway through. There's a whole underground section that I'm just going to run through instead of actually doing. We jump, and then sometimes, if you get lucky, you go straight through. I'm really having a bad time today. Right, now we're in the underground section, where we have some drip leaf parkour. You know what, I'll do it until I fall. Yep, that didn't take long. Let's just get through this bit, and yeah, just imagining I'm jumping over all the parkour and doing epic jumps and being amazing. And oh look, I made it. Another... Oh! Ow. We come to the final room, eventually, which is... Oh, I can't even do this jump. I've created a monster in this whole build. I should have done something... There we go. Something easier. And here is the end portal room. Ta-da! 10 hours later, we eventually get there. Can I do the end rods? That is the question. I'll try. I didn't actually have a cheat way to get into the portal itself, so I kind of have to do the parkour, or at least partially. I should have put a ladder or something in, because if I come partway down here, I gotta do it. Obviously, usually I just drop through the roof via that trapdoor up there. Okay, we're close. You know what? That's good enough. There we go. That was the long way to access my end portal. But here we are in the end. I do keep meaning to terraform this place and... not terraform, sorry. Transition... what's the word? I've forgotten. The word has left my mind. To transform, there we go. To transform the end island into something that's a lot cooler. It is just a mighty task because it's either you incorporate the obsidian pillars or you tear them down, neither of which I really fancy. So yeah, I've been putting that off for a while, but we do have one build in this end dimension, and that is my Enderman farm. I'll only do a quick run up and show you. It's just a classic design that everyone uses. It's nothing revolutionary. But, like everything else, it is part of the world, so I will come ahead and show you. But we will not be spending here long, because it is very noisy, as you can see. You know what, while I'm here, I may as well just fix up my tools a little bit. Oh, okay, that did not take long at all. I'll get my Elytra the rest of the way. There we go. Oh, I forgot to say, ages ago, I asked you guys for some... name suggestions for all of my armor pieces, just on like the community post thing, and collectively through multiple people's suggestions and kind of changing them to my own ideas, we've got Shelmet for the helmet, flappers for the wings, blast pants, and snow grippers. So, yeah, in case you're wondering if you saw that post and if anything ever came of it, it did. I just kind of forgot to mention it in the video. I believe this is the biggest build in my world. It is my desert pyramid, which is a cover-up for my mob farm. I definitely think it's the build with like the most amount of blocks. It's not the highest. Obviously, that goes to our world height tower. But this one, as far as like largest, definitely gives it a run for its money. But yeah, we got a mob farm here that we built in like episode 4, way early on in the series. I can actually show you it through this glass. Pretty dark, but it's one of those designs with the layers and then... Oh, I don't even need to turn the farm on. They just walk off themselves. They go into the middle and burn away. But it can be turned on to increase the speed of things. I haven't actually done anything with the interior of this place. It's something I've been meaning to do for a really long time. It's just quite daunting because it's such a massive space. I just don't know what to put here. Like, it's so open. So I won't promise to do it, but I'll promise to try to do it at some point in time. Maybe we'll get to it one day. But yeah, the pyramid is actually pretty epic. I do really like doing these giant builds, designing them and then piecing them together in my actual world here. And it is a real nice like focal point for the desert, because the rest of the desert is kind of in shambles. You know, harvesting sand, and I'm aging copper over there. That's just my creaking farm. Yeah, it's a bit messy. I don't have another desert nearby really, so I kind of have to make use of this for my sand. And I started gathering all of that obviously before I built this, so maybe one day I'll go through and kind of repair everything to make it nice and pretty around here. But for right now, we've just got a big old pyramid and something over there, which we'll get to in a second. But we will, oh yeah, of course, take a quick look at the AFK platform. Obviously, it's UFO. It's gotta be. As we all know, the UFOs, or the pyramids were made by aliens or something. I don't know. I don't actually think that, by the way. I feel like I'm going to confuse some people. I just needed a bit of an AFK platform, and I thought a UFO would be a fun little thing to add in. But we can actually turn the farm on in this top level here, I think. Yes, we've got a lever. So I flick this, go up to the AFK platform, and wait and get lots and lots and lots of drops. But yeah, we got a beacon in the top. I get some boosted effects, not that I really need them, but it makes it look cool shooting up through the center of the pyramid. And yeah, that is this giant build. I decimated the desert to get the resources for this, but probably worth it. Also went through my entire gold supplies. Not only are these gold blocks, you know, solid, or they're not solid, but all of these gold blocks for the 4 roofs, but I also needed to spawn proof them, so every single one of them has a weighted pressure plate on. Yeah, expensive roofs. But they look good, so that's all that matters. So that is my pyramid, but if we follow on this pathway here, we eventually come to another village. Can you tell I like making villages? There's still more to get to later as well. We're not done. This isn't the last one by any stretch of your imagination. We've got some others to look at, but this is actually, where is it? Here we are. My Star Wars inspired village, kind of based on Tatooine, and all of the builds or buildings there. Maybe doesn't go hand in hand with Egyptian pyramids, but it goes along with the theme of the desert, so I think it works. But yeah, had a lot of fun doing this. I adore Star Wars, so combining it with Minecraft, it's a recipe for success, at least based on my enjoyment levels. And yeah, all of these builds a little bit different, but similar enough in style, as they should be with any old village that you make. And we've kind of created some sort of power supply units and everywhere, and just tried to make it look very Star Warsy and very Tatooine-y, which yeah, I think has actually gone pretty well. I like it. We got a speeder over here. The smoke is kind of going the wrong way. Just imagine it's propelling downwards, not upwards. Trying to think if there's any fun little details around here. Of course, we got some actual villagers working away. I'm fairly certain, actually, this used to be a proper village. And then I renovated it into this, which significantly improved it, I would say. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So the villagers were already over here, but now it's a proper functioning village where they've got some nice amenities around. We will just pop in a couple of the buildings to take a look, because I can't remember what they look like. Okay, yeah, that's where the Star Wars-iness ends. Inside the buildings is just beds and workstations. But from the outside, looks pretty good, I would say. We're on the home stretch now, guys. I think there's less than 10 locations we need to visit before we are all done. But this right here is my raid-proof village. Quite literally, it's tried and tested. I can confirm it is raid-proof. I built this thing up and then summoned a raid and managed to defend it, thanks to my trapdoor walls. These blocks thoroughly confused the raiders. They didn't know what to do. They basically just like ran into the wall and I could pick them off. So it made the fight a little bit easy, but it was fun nonetheless. It was an enjoyable process building up a village with the intention of to set a raid on it. Sorry guys, you had to be a victim to that, but it made a good video. It was one of the ones that kind of made its way into the algorithm, so a lot of you may have joined the channel through this video possibly. You'll have to let me know which one you actually first saw of mine in the comments below. I'd be curious. You can see it confuses the villagers too. They want to get out through the trapdoors. But yeah, pretty bog standard village. Nothing too fancy going on in here. I'd say the true beauty of this build is the episode that we made alongside it. It was real fun. And it's called Raidsville. But yeah, I think, actually, can we get in these towers? Can't remember. No, okay. I could fly around and get inside the towers, but can't access them from the inside. Now, I love doing this video so much that eventually, quite a long time later, I did a similar one over there. A little bit bigger and better, I would say. If you like that video, you will love this video because it is, you know, better on every single level. The build is better, the video is better, the raid was better as well. So this is when we made a raid-proof castle. I had so much fun designing this build. It is a proper castle, you know, the dog castle, still technically a castle, but a very small one at that. This one is much more magnificent, much more castle-like, and just it looks really cool. I had a lot of fun doing it, I can't lie. I do enjoy building these sort of things, but we made this entire thing, set a raid on it, and it was a lot of fun. There is quite a lot to look at in this place, so we might skim over some things, but we'll take a step inside. We're already long enough in the video. We can look at everything in detail all the way to the end. So there are multiple like defenses along here. We've got some like gaps in the wall, so I could shoot the raiders. And then I think that kind of goes all the way around. Like we've got these corridors that go to every part of the wall. So if any got stuck, I could get them that way. The idea was to kind of make something that I could defend the castle without actually having to leave it at all, which I did for the most part. I think if I remember correctly, I managed to stay within the castle walls. Generally, every now and again there'd be a straggler that I have to go take care of, but for the most part we did it. The Iron Golem really took a beating. I need to get you some ingots, my friend. I'm sorry. I don't have any on me, but I'll get there one day. But yeah, it was a really fun video. We had one of the levels for the raid. The raiders actually spawn like right inside the castle, up here, I think, somewhere, and it's just pure chaos. So we got some like fun defenses like this, for example. Press it, shoots arrows out of the front of these dispensers. Where else can we go? There's so many like little ways around that I get honestly lost because it's quite big. This is another one of the sort of corridors that we've got going around to all of the places you could get the raiders, like this one right here. Got a panoramic view of any coming over the hill here. What else have we got? Let's have a look around. What is through this door? This goes to... Oh, this goes to a tower. Okay, good to know. I can't actually climb that tower. Is that intentional? Can I climb any of the towers? No, I can't. These are droppers for droppers for potions. I think when we were actually doing the raid, there was a cat that spawned in through the village up there. which we'll take a look at in a second, and it just kept pressing all of the pressure plates. Very, very cat-like. This tower here, I think it's just a tower. I don't think it actually goes anywhere. Just have certain points off leaning into all of the windows, so you can, you know, shoot out this way. And okay, that's it for this room. Let's go into here. This is like the war room, I guess you would call it. So we've got the heads of our enemies. We got a map of the castle with pins on to know where they're coming from. We've got, you know, armory stuff and workstations and tactical planning or something here. It was a fun episode for sure. We also have lava drops or lava traps in the corner. I press that, lava comes out, gets them. I got a couple that way because I could, you know, lure them over here and then drop lava on their head. Very, very kind of me. What else have we got? I think if we go around this way, we eventually get to a staircase that can take us up to the next level. Yep, here we go. This takes us to the keep, which is the actual village. So this is where the villagers are, hidden nicely. Where are they? Oh, they're workstations. Oh, goodness. I thought they were meant to be down here. No, workstations are upstairs. So there's no way anything could have got to them here because of that slab in the way, and they can't get out or anything like that. So they were safe in the keep, but they still panicked regardless. So that's their bedroom down at the bottom. We can go up the stairs and we start getting to some of the workstations. This guy even works out on the balcony, living life on the edge. Then we go further up to the top to... oh, this is the roof. Well, how's the pig on here? Oh yeah, that's right. No, there was a pig. I remember from the episode. He snuck inside. He's now a resident of the keep. But we got a couple more up the top here. And then I think... oh no, there is one more room to check out. I told you it was pretty big. There's a lot to look at. This is the dining hall, I'm pretty sure. If I can find an entrance. Somewhere? How do I get in this thing? Round the other side? It's very confusing. Here we are. So yeah, this is the big dining hall where the villagers can all come and eat their food. If they could only, you know, exit out the keep. They can't, unfortunately. But the raiders enjoyed it in here. And kitchen up the top, that's what this is. Okay, I think that's the full castle tour. That took a while. I do apologize for the length of the video, but then if you're still watching at this point, you probably enjoy that sort of thing. It has gone on a lot longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. We're doing the full proper tour today. We're not missing a thing. I promise this is the last one. This is the final village, my mangrove village, which always makes me lag like crazy. There's something about the mangrove swamp. I mean, I know what it is. It's the leaves. That's what does it. It's a bad time for my computer here. But yeah, this is the mangrove swamp village, and I can't remember if we've actually got villagers here. I don't think so. I think it was too, like, finicky the way I had to build all these houses. There's too many trapdoors around for there to be villagers. Yeah, we haven't actually got proper beds inside of here. But we got sort of this riverside, you know, built into the wall village. These sort of torn down, worn out houses made out of the mud brick and the mangrove, and using all the blocks you would find in the actual biome here. It's pretty cool. And then we got some bridges. We're also overrun with frogs. I was breeding some up, and then I ended up breeding like way too many, so now there's just like a bajillion of these type of frogs around. I think there's honestly even more in this hole where I was making them. Yeah, there's still tadpoles that haven't grown up. So yeah, lots and lots of frogs around, which isn't a bad thing. That's always nice company. There's even one on a boat ready to go. But this main build at the end is like the main, I don't know what you'd call this actually. It's not really part of the village. It's something totally separate. Maybe the village is for the frogs? I'm not sure. But in here, we have the 3 frog variants. I don't know which ones are which. There's this guy under here, having fun on the lily pad. There's... oh, they're all stuck under the lily pads. There's this guy here, who's the same as the one outside. So I'm guessing you're the warm. And then you're either temperate or cold. I have no idea. But, yep, they like it in here. Up the ladder is just... oh, a nice little bedroom for me. There we go. That's cute, isn't it? But I think maybe we'll just do a quick swim down the river. Oh, wait, hang on. There is something else in this biome that we need to go check out. So we will swim down the river, take a look at the houses, and then set flight to go look at one quick thing. It's just a farm, but it's got a cool cover up, so I must show you. If you like frogs, you'll like this one. Okay, cool. Right, it's getting dark, so that's basically the village. It sort of starts here and then goes all the way to the end of the river. Cool. Okay, yeah, let's fly up and see if I can remember which way to go, because I usually pick the wrong direction. There it is. Oh, that right there is my witch hut. I think there's an AFK platform up the top. Yeah, okay, so I go up here, and then there's a witch hut with a witch farm down here that can work away, but I needed something to cover it up, and I didn't know what else to do, so I went with a giant frog, who is adorable. And then all the drops here just come down to the chest. Oh, you can see it's actually working right now. Oh, very noisy. That is a gross noise. Don't like that one bit. But yeah, we get lots and lots of redstone, which is good. Not that I use it, because I'm a little bit stupid when it comes to that. But if I ever need it, I've got it. The next build we've got to look at is actually right here in the Nether. If we just keep going along this pathway until we get to that sign in the distance and look up, we have my gold farm. There's a couple of other farms as well on the Nether roof, like that's my Froglight farm, and I've got a Hoglin farm somewhere. Not that important, they are just the farms, they don't look that nice. The gold farm is a bit of an exception because it is quite an aesthetically pleasing farm to look at, especially with my auto crafter system down here that funnels it all into gold blocks. This is just like the classic donut design that you see quite a lot. Unfortunately, as of some updates, that's very noisy. Let's go back down. Don't need to go up there to show you, but as of some recent update, piglins don't drop XP like killing them this way, sadly, so it doesn't work as an XP farm anymore, and it's just a gold farm, but it's better than nothing. But yeah, it was my main XP farm, so I was a bit sad about that, honestly. But that is my gold farm, as I said. Froglight farm, Hoglin farm, somewhere over there. And we're quickly going to take a trip down this path, I think. Yes, to my Blaze farm, which is another... Oh, there's the Hoglin farm over there. It's a farm that I've actually made look nice, so we will spend some time and actually take a proper look when we eventually get there. There it is. Obviously, there's no nether portal at the end of this pathway because we are already in the nether. But if we just go down this vine, and then we should be able to drop all the way into the fortress, catch ourselves right at the end, and this direction. So this right here is my Blaze farm. It is just the one where they fall into the lava and gets pushed in the middle. I've just put a cover on it to make it look nice because it's all out in the open here, and I thought I often overlook nether builds quite a lot, and if I ever need to make a farm here, as you can see from what I've done on the nether roof, I don't really try very hard, so I thought this time I'd do a little cover on it. I do keep meaning to make a wither skeleton farm at some point in time, purely because I'd like the option to use beacons a bit more frequently if I would like, and you know, coal is always good, and bones, so I wouldn't turn up those as well, but they require a little bit more work than a blaze farm does, so something for the future. We are now at the penultimate destination of the world tour, which is my roller coaster island. And this was a really fun project to work on. So what I'm currently stood on top of right now, and we are going to ride the roller coaster. Actually, yeah, let's ride it and talk at the same time. This was a mushroom island, and I've totally transformed them into separate biomes. So this is just the beginning one, but we go up into like the mesa biome here. We've got the mushroom cows in there for some reason. We go through the back of this cart, and you know, through a mini Wild West theme before heading into the forest. Now, as I said, this is quite a long roller coaster, or at least I think I said. If not, it is. It goes on for quite a ways, so we are going to ride it because it is quite fun to do so, and I haven't for a really long time. But here's the forest. We got some beehives, we got a hobbit hole over there, and then we go into the swamp. Yes, into the swamp. So we transition out of the forest and actually go underwater. Because you can do that in Rails now, which is still kind of crazy to me. But we go through the mangrove trees, out to sea, get a little bit of a break. What is that? Oh, it's a mushroom cow. That's sad. Oh, poor guy. And cross over this bridge and start climbing into the mountains. Going up this steep hill. Take a turn. You can see the other mushroom island over there. And then down here, all the way down into the jungle biome, where we have some jungle tree houses. We've even got a temple that we're going straight into now. And then we come out on the other side, go round one of the houses. I'll tell you what, this car is moving a lot faster than I remember it doing. I feel like I remember this taking a lot longer, but maybe I'm mistaking it with some of the other rail lines in my world. But we eventually get out of the jungle and go inside the other mountain peak, and hopefully there's no mobs. Very dark in here. Am I that confident I lit it up well enough? Not really. But we wind all the way around to the top, and big drop down into the ice spikes biome and all of the colder variants of the biome. So the taiga, we got some igloos, we got a little campfire set up, we got a sleigh, or sled, whatever you want to call it. And then we go into, I guess, just the end? Not the end, sorry, the end of the ride. Got a small mushroom island there with a couple of cows on. They also look very sad and lonely. But, oh, this is the slow bit. Yeah, I forgot about this. But eventually we get round to the beach biome. We've got some deck chairs, we got a boat, a little bit of storage to end it off, and we get back into the station. Ooh, just like that. So yeah, this was a lot of fun, fully transforming this mushroom island into all of these different biomes and building cool things. I love roller coasters. Similar situation to the Star Wars village. I love roller coasters and I love Minecraft, so combining the two is always a good idea. Oh, sorry, I just stepped on somebody's grave. My bad, but yeah, lots of fun details around here. A really, really cool project. So here we are at the final build or building project we have to visit for today, which is my survival island. Fairly recently actually, it wasn't all that long ago, so some of you may be familiar with some of this. We came all the way out to this beautiful island, which I haven't really terraformed all that much at all. It looked like this to begin with. I've just added stuff onto it. It was such a cool shape and I wanted to build something here, so that's exactly what I did. And I brought all my supplies with me, and we, made ourselves a little home here. So we have, I guess, the main house at the top. Let's go here to begin with. So inside of here is my base. It's kind of meant to be like somewhere I could move into and you know, survive on this island for a little while if I wanted to. But most of it is aesthetic stuff, I would say. Got bedroom, kitchen out there. Then upstairs leads to both of the two balconies that we can gaze out at. It's getting dark, so I think we might actually go to sleep in a second. But this one just goes to the other side. More views again. And then out this way is actually one of the coolest parts of the island, I would say. We got this like sharp rock shooting up from the ocean down there, and on top of it we've precariously placed a fishing hut. The only thing is, I'm too high up from the ocean, so my fishing rod doesn't actually make it. So yeah, maybe not the best fishing hut in the world, but certainly looks the part. I think real quick, let's just have a quick nap in the bed, and then in the morning we'll check out the rest of the island, because there's quite a lot around here to get to. And since this is the last build, or the last building project, sorry, it's not rush, because then we're done after that. That's world tour over. Got a small storage building over here. Everything kind of keeping to the same style, as you can see. I really like the bamboo wood with the spruce and the mangrove and the jungle. I think it goes together very, very nicely. Up here we have a lighthouse, of course, to attract attention. I think that's actually what I said in the video, how I built this lighthouse to attract attention to, oh goodness, to get help and you know, can rescue me from this island, in theory. I've realized now, after many comments, that is such a stupid thing to say. You don't build a lighthouse on an island to try and get people to come to the island. If anything, that's going to scare them off, because you don't want to crash into it. So yeah, we'll just say it's a lighthouse for the purpose of a lighthouse. You may also notice we have some of these Easter Island heads dotted around, or Easter Island inspired heads. I think they fit very nicely. A couple of campfire setups. We've got some animal pens over there, but I couldn't actually find any animals on this island. Some crop fields and some food supplies, because of course we need that to survive. Then I think there's something around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. There's a ladder to get to the cave that's underground. It's a pretty cool cave, so I thought I would incorporate it into the build. Take this ladder down into the platform, or onto the platform, into the cave. So there's my mob farm for the island. I'm not going to stick around here. I'm going straight back up. And then I think we got a few more things to look at. Again, this is a more recent build, so some of you may be familiar. More of the heads. And then, actually, yeah, the last thing might be just the staircase that leads down to the dock there, and the ship, which is how I made my escape, at least. That's how it was made to seem in the episode. So I'm not still stranded on the island. I was able to build the boat and get away. But we also got, obviously, some palm trees dotted around. I never know how to build palm trees very well. I always do this sort of design, and I can't tell if I like it or not. It looks like a palm tree, which I guess is the main thing. Do I actually have a way to get onto this boat, or have I got to fly? I think I might have to fly. I'm not sure how much there is actually on this boat, but we'll take a look anyway, just in case. Alright, there's a way to get down. Storage! What a surprise. That's usually what I do in the bottom of a boat, just chuck a bunch of chests and call it a day. But yeah, that right there is my survival island. Just do a quick fly around in case I've forgotten anything. Didn't think so. Yeah, here's a better view of that fishing hut. Pretty cool, right? I just thought the terrain was epic. Truth be told, I have just noticed for some reason there's a grass block in the middle of the ocean here. I bet I placed that for some reason or another. But I bet that was bugging someone, because it was bugging me. So if it was, you are welcome. Oh, one more thing. Nearly forgot. Of course, a very important part of Minecraft is mining. So had to add in a mine shaft that doesn't actually go anywhere. But from the surface, it looks like it's going deep underground into the caves. Okay, everybody. I think that is everything covered. I do have this mysterious portal at the end of the pathway, and I have no idea what this is, so I'm bringing you with me to see what this holds. It's probably not going to be anything important because it's not connected. Well, I've been here, that's for sure. Oh, there's a village. Oh, you know what? I bet I was bringing villagers over for some project. Okay, that's actually a little bit underwhelming. Oh, that's kind of a sad thing to end on. Let's go back to the base and end things properly. Ah, that's better. Let's finish the tour somewhere familiar, somewhere where we actually have stuff built properly. And we can say goodbye, because we are sitting at, I think, 3.5 hours at this point, or at least somewhere around that mark. So that's probably long enough. I should wrap things up now. I did just want to show you this in honor of Nether Donkey. This is one of the very first things that happened in this world. I can't honestly remember what happened exactly, but there was a donkey who would go in and out of my Nether portal, and somehow he died. Very upsetting, so that's where he's buried. So on that delightful note, that is going to do it for the world tour. And oh boy, what a world tour it has been. I need a rest after that. I thought it would take a while walking around everywhere, looking at literally everything I've built through my 4 years of playing in this world, but wasn't expecting it to go on for quite that long. So if you're still watching, I assume you've enjoyed yourself, because you probably wouldn't have watched for over 3 hours if you weren't having fun. So thank you for doing that. And I guess I will see you in the next video, where we will be back to normal, probably doing some more stuff over here at the base. We are coming up on day 5,000, and I kind of want to do something special for that. So we'll have a think, and I will see you in the next episode. But once again, thank you so much for watching to this point, or just watching in general, watching anything I make. It is massively appreciated. And yeah, thanks for 100 episodes, guys. Hopefully at least 100 more to go, and many, many more. So I will see you in episode 101 next time. Bye for now.